5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Hello, everybody. Before we start, I think it's actually important that you introduce yourself in your new era.
Oh my God,
new
vibe,
new age, new chapter.
Let me sit up.
Let's all clear our throats. Silence, please, as Audrey is fucking talking.
Let me sit like a 40-year-old.
She will blaze up, but she's 40.
Exactly.
Bitch.
Like this is a visual representation.
A red lip and a bun.
Of exactly like this is a visual representation of me being being in my grown woman era. But yeah, I'm 40.
Mm-mm.
I left here 39.
You sure did.
I came back 40.
Praise be to God.
And yeah, we thank God. We thank God that I'm here, man. I can't believe it. But yeah, I'm 40 officially as of like basically a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so far so good.
Okay.
I'm only a few days in. Today is the 16th,
yes,
so I'm only 4 days in to my new era.
Okay.
But so far so good. It's been very good to me in the last 4 days.
Amazing.
But no, I love it. I just can't believe I'm here on, I was going to say this very couch, but it really wasn't. We've been on many a couches.
Many a couches.
Many a chairs,
couches, swirly chairs.
No, we've sat in some places.
We've been around. We've been in places.
We've recorded in some places, honey. But it was 10 years ago that I was harping on and on about being 30. And that is what always spins me because you can't argue with that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no debating over the 10-year thing. Like it's actual factual. Like I was 30 and I felt like I was so grown. I thought I knew so much. I didn't condone it. I didn't condemn it.
You didn't.
When I was 30 and now I'm here 10 years later as a 40-year-old woman. 40. I've left my 30s behind. My 30s have been very good to me though.
They were great.
They were great to me. I feel like everything good happened to me in my 30s.
Amazing.
Like I started this in my 30s. I got married in my 30s. I had a Naya in my 30s. I've had so many wins in my 30s. You know, some friendships have come and gone, but it doesn't matter. It was all for the best. But my 30s have definitely been like my best era.
Are you going to be them people that make that content of like, now that I'm 40, it's everything I wish I knew? I hate them things.
No, I don't, because do you know what? Yeah, because we always get asked that question, what would you ask your younger self? And I fucking don't know, bro.
Do you know what? I say the same thing every time. What would you tell your younger? I actually hate that question.
That's same, because I don't know.
Because I haven't worked it out yet.
Yeah,
bitch, I don't
I'm still
know.
living.
Yeah.
I'm still living. I never have an answer to
my
that
answer's
question.
always the same. I'd say, think bigger, girl. Like you can think,
dream
you
bigger.
You can dream bigger. I always say, because I don't have much else to say. And honestly, that is what I would say to her. Like,
I always say I wouldn't have scented man so much. That's always what I say because that was my L back in the day. But yeah, my 40s will be better. They'll be bigger and they'll be better.
Amen.
And so yeah, I'm just very happy and very grateful to have seen 40. Yes, I'm excited.
For many, we pray for many, many more years in Jesus' name. May God continue to bless you, watch over you, all of your heart's desires, all of your prayers. Will He make it true in Jesus' name? All that you ask for in private, all that you plead for privately, He shall see to your answers, to your questions, and you shall be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Welcome to your new decade, a decade of love, of joy, of happiness, of success, and all that your heart desires.
Thank you, babe. That was a wonderful prayer. Thank you. I receive and I claim it all and send back to sender as well.
Yes,
amen. But no, it's great. So far, so great.
So far, so good. Go ni budget. Let me see you. Go la la la. Let me see you. Go la la la. Wow. Aunties. Oh my God. Aunties and mummies.
They love that song. And basically, you know Culture FM, yeah? Shout out them. They did like an edition for the Aunties.
Oh, did they?
Oh my God. I wanted to send it to my mum, but at the same time, and it was like mainly like Ghanaian DJs and Ghanaian aunties.
What, so they got to go to the event?
I'll show you the video because I've got it in my saved favourites, yeah? And the aunties are getting down. It's all aunties and uncles in the background. They're playing all old school high life, hip life, and they are dancing.
Oh, I love
and they're having a great time. I wanted to send it to my mum, and I was like, she's just going to be like, why didn't you get me a plate? I'm like, I didn't know.
When is the next event?
I didn't know what was happening. But they looked like they were having a great time. But they love
when
that song.
That song comes on,
listen,
the way they booga,
they love it.
They absolutely love that song.
They love it.
And I'm so pleased for them that they have something that they love very, very much. But yeah. Introductions. This is your girl Tolly T.
And just call me Audrey.
Ow. Welcome to episode. What number did you say? Sorry, I forgot. 289 of the Receipts podcast. We are both freshly off holidays as we record this. feel relaxed, don't feel relaxed. We're feeling stuff, but we're back in England. We're back in England when the sun's coming out again, and we're just trying to be positive, happy, and good vibes.
And get to work.
Oh my God.
Because so much stuff that we couldn't do because we were both away at the same time.
You was away, then I was away, and now everything, we are like 2 weeks away from the shows, so we need to get planning. We've started, to you guys who have applied, we're seeing it. Remember, do apply. It ends July the 8th. So please apply. And also, listen to the fucking instructions I'm giving you.
Oh my God, please. Because I will say this now, I'm very strict. Like,
Audrey's very strict.
If you don't listen and follow the instructions, then you're automatically eliminated.
I think there's always the assumption that I'm the strict one. I am, no, let me not lie. I am the strict one. But also, Audrey is a stickler about certain things.
I am a stickler because obviously there's so many to go through.
Yes.
So already there's so much competition.
Yes.
So why would you even put yourself at a disadvantage by not not following the instructions?
And that is the person that will rule you out. Like, you didn't listen, so
because the thing
get out of here.
There's a reason why we've asked those things. So if you haven't done it, then we don't actually know what to look out for.
Exactly.
You know, so it's very important that you read it well, and then the rest is up to you.
It's exciting times, and like the applications have been good, and we're really hoping that we're gonna find some magic here.
Oh,
I had a thought the other day. Maybe it's not a thought to say publicly. I think there are certain people in the space that I would love for them to apply, and I kind of wanted to be like, hey, would you apply for this?
Pluck certain people
I'll be like, do you know when they say when a company, what does that mean? When a company like cherry picks you?
Oh yeah, what's it called?
Scout?
Oh no.
Oh, what's the word? When
poach, not poach. No, there is a word.
Yeah.
There's an actual.
Huh? Headhunts. Yes. When a company headhunts certain people, and I was like, oh, I'd really love for her to apply.
Like, have you thought about?
Yeah, have you ever thought about
to Receipts Limited?
Coming over to this side of things, you know, see how it runs over here. But yeah, so that's all exciting. That's happening. Live shows are happening. We talked about having a theme, but we didn't actually give people themes, and I think we should definitely do that
because then it will make it
easy I think it'll be fun. And I kind of want to do a theme where it's like we have a theme and then we have a separate theme for Patreons. So then they can know themselves, and then they feel a bit special. They can spot each other.
That's actually a very
I think that's cute.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. That's
so cute. Then they know that we're the special ones.
Yeah,
do you know how when it's your birthday, you tell all of your close friends to, like, you're wearing red, your close friends wear black, and everybody else just being whatever.
Wear a touch of whatever. I like that idea. I think we should definitely do that.
Okay, we'll figure out the themes, and we will let you all know what they are and the vibes and all things like that.
Yes,
what's new with you? What's new in the world?
Do you know what? The world has gone to shit as always.
Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race.
Yes, Michael did not lie when he said that. But do you know what's so funny? Yeah, this is so dumb. But there's basically, like, I saw this TikTok, and it was basically this guy being... Have you seen this trend that people are doing where they're pretending they're reading comments of, like, lives?
No, do you know I'm not on thing
anymore.
Yeah,
you don't see it. So basically, like, there's this... I don't know if it's a trend, but it's like people are doing it, and people will basically be like pretending they're on live reading certain questions.
Right,
So they'll be like, "So when are you going to finally get to the gym?" Or just dumb stuff. And so like some guy did one, and he was like pretending to be God. He was like, "God, like this is God on live." And he was like, and it's like, "Why haven't you answered my prayer about my cat?" And he's like, "But people, like, as in, like, get out of my face." Next, and then he's like, "What are you doing about world hunger?" God's like, "I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it." And it's actually so funny. I don't know how people come up with this stuff.
I had a really interesting conversation the other day about God and prayer and things like that. And this person I was speaking to believes that prayer is a waste of time. He said that at most our prayer should just be thanks and like just praise and thank yous, because it was like, it contradicts the idea that it's already his will. So to pray for something that changes his will is to asking the author to change the story. But
the story's already...
Yeah, so it was like, if your prayers are answered, it's because it was going to happen. And I was quite like, I don't know.
That is quite profound, actually.
I don't know what I think about that.
But that's kind of like, I know I quote this man here quite regularly, but Dr. Umar Johnson says that. He's like, you don't pray for what you can do, you pray for what you can't do. So if there's anything that is like within your capability, you shouldn't be praying for that.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because you know what you need to do to go get that thing. Like, why are you asking God to help you with something that you're able to do, that you have within you to do, you have the capacity to do? You ask for prayers for the things that you don't feel like you're able to. So I guess it's kind of in the same realm, but that is a very interesting concept.
That was like, he was just like, prayer should just be thanks. Rather than, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Because if it was gonna...
I realised, but when I pray, I don't really ask for things.
Oh, I'd be asking.
When I pray, I definitely give thanks, but I ask God to sustain things that are already really good. Do you know what I mean? So I'll be like, like my family, like take care of them, protect them. Like I pray that everyone has like a productive day, like take them and bring them back safely. Do you know what I mean? And those are like the terms and conditions of my prayers. Like I say those all the time, but I don't know that I ask for things.
I ask for things to go well. I definitely ask for things.
But I guess that's part of asking for things.
Yeah, my prayer starts with Heavenly Father, thank you so much. Like I do a thanks. Thank you for my life, thank you for my family's life. Thank you for all that you've done and what you continue to do. Please, thanks, cool. But my guy.
But there's some things. Now let's get to the list.
My guy. There were a couple of things. And there was a really interesting like video essay that I watched recently of the girl being like, your prayers are really selfish. And they are. Yeah, they are. Like, because when you think of the grandeur of things that happen in the world, and I'm asking God to be like, oh, this thing that I applied for, can you make sure I get it? Yeah. And it's like, girl, people are suffering. People are dying. Like literally, and you're asking for this thing to go through. It's really interesting to me because I was like, actually Yeah. But also like I'm also someone that really massively believes that prayer works. Yeah, but their point was that if prayer works, it's because that was the will anyway.
Well, two things can be true. Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to stop asking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Don't you worry.
Yeah, if it was going to happen anyway, then you're still asking God to, maybe make it happen sooner, Sooner would be nice. But I don't think God's mad at us asking. I feel like he wants us to ask because he's able to do it all.
Because it also says, ask and you will receive.
Yeah, that part.
Seek and you shall find, knock the door and the door shall be open unto you.
But you must also work as well alongside the prayer.
Prayer without works is dead. Exactly. No, faith without works is dead. Yeah, exactly. And remember, all you need is the faith that's higher than the mustard seed.
See, and that's not that big.
And that is it from Pastor Talani. Thank you so much. There was a podcast, I think it's a Christian podcast, and they were saying how, do you know pastors that do this thing of they'll take a real life event and turning it into a preaching. And they were like, gave them an example of like, here's this thing, how would a pastor now like, for example, like, Arsenal getting this, I don't know if this is true, Arsenal getting this far in the league and then missing out in the last minute. How would the pastor now change that into a prayer, like a preaching? To like, I'm just like, it's actually quite a fun game.
Yeah, I feel like being a pastor is not like, I do think if you're a pastor and you pastor well, it's not like an easy thing to do.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll be in church and sometimes I'm like, no, I'm going to listen to everything. Like, I'm in. And I'll be in and then they'll just take some tangent. I'll be like, how the hell?
How did we get here?
Like, what did I miss that we started here and we ended up like, I do not understand the transition. We went from here to here. Like, you've now lost me in this preaching because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like it is a skill. And I just feel like, to be able to talk to a group of people and all of that on a weekly basis and speak life into people and bring energy. Like I do think that is like a calling.
Yeah,
if done properly, of course. Like
which is why I believe it's not something that should be handed down to your children.
Yeah, exactly. Like you cannot. Unless you truly believe they have the gift.
Yeah, that a pastor dies and then their kids take over. Yeah. How do we know? This is not one of those hand down jobs.
Yeah, no, it's not nepotism like that.
I don't think it works here.
Yeah.
But hey ho. What do I know? Imagine if there was a world where you were like, God ordained you to be a pastor's wife. I'd be fuming.
That's not my ministry.
Like, Lord, damn right.
But did you see that whole thing with, this is a while ago, and I think it's Pastor Bryant, I forgot his name, Jamal Bryant. So he's like, he's a bit of a shady pastor, but he was basically married to Giselle, who was on Potomac. And he's a really, really big pastor of an ATL. Like he's got a massive, one of those mega churches.
The mega churches, yeah.
And his wife, he's remarried now, and his wife, they went to some dinner or something, and the dress that she showed up in, and there was all this conversation about whether it's appropriate or not for a pastor's wife. And I personally didn't think she was like scantily clad or anything like that, but it was very suggestive.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It was giving ATL.
Was it very form fitting?
It was very form fitting. It wasn't necessarily giving pastor's wife, but it wasn't overly suggestive. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But people were just like, pastor's wife shouldn't be dressing like that, blah, blah, blah. And then people in the comments were like posting pictures of like pastors' wives from back in the day when they were wearing like power suits and stuff like that. And it was just like, what happens to these? And I'm just like, oh God.
Do you know what's making me laugh thinking about old pictures? Have you ever looked at pictures of when you were younger and thought, why do I look 45?
Always. Especially when I was like young.
And my mum used to put us in a suit. Like, my mum used to put us in a dress and the matching blazers to church. We used to have full-on pictures of like, I look so old.
And we had hairstyles that were not fit for children. Like, why do I have a blowout, but it's like tongued backwards? with a quiff.
Flick that you used to put in our hair.
And I'm wearing like, why as a 9-year-old am I wearing a brooch?
No, quite.
And a blouse. Like, I've got no business wearing a blouse.
There was
a
thing where people just posted loads of pictures of themselves.
Yeah, it was so funny. And then people giving them job titles.
And then if by any chance you happen to be chubbier when you were younger,
oh my god, you definitely looked older.
God.
And then sometimes they would let us wear makeup.
Yes, and it was almost like they didn't have clothes for chubbier kids.
yeah.
So you were wearing adult wears.
No, I saw one of those. Yeah, and there was this little girl. She was about 5, wearing a full-on suit.
Yeah,
but it was probably a boy's suit. But she proper has on a blazer and a pant with a tie. And she's like 5.
What was that shop that used to also bigger people? Oh, there was
Adams.
a shop.
No, not Adams.
No.
Oh my God, what is that shop called?
Oh, you know, and they used to do those suits that they used to put in, like, it was actually not fair.
Oh my God, not Wallace.
I can't remember what it's called now.
I know exactly the shop you're talking about. I cannot remember for the life of me what it was called, but it was like in the 90s.
And it actually really wasn't fair. If you was a bigger kid, it's a long day for you, buddy, because you are wearing adult clothes.
Yeah, you're wearing a blouse, you're wearing a brooch, a blazer, a shoulder pad.
Yes, a shoulder pad.
Yeah, a shoulder pad at 8 is crazy with a blowout, and then like triangle-shaped earrings, like with like clip-ons.
Clip-on earrings! Do you know there was a time I really loved clip-on earrings?
I know, they did come back, but they're not that practical.
No, they're stupid. they are actually quite stupid.
And because clip-ons were big ones, that doesn't make any sense.
They're always big ones, and they'll hurt your ear by the end of the day. Like, it was just a very stupid thing to do.
That just made no sense.
And also, why?
Costume jewelry.
I guess because you didn't want to get your ear pierced, maybe?
Maybe, actually. Maybe it's for people that didn't have piercings.
So they now put a clip on in your ear. If you don't want to pierce
your
ear, then commit to the cause, buddy. You can't pick exactly. You can't say you want to do this and do the other.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like when vegans have like cow flavored like tofu. Not cow flavored, but it's like tofu that impersonates like a beef patty. Commit to the thing. You don't want to eat meat, then don't. No judgment. But what do you mean this is like it resembles chicken?
I don't like anything that's not meant to be.
No, one time I went to this spot in Shoreditch. It was one we used to record around radar times. And I think I was early or something. So I popped into this spot. I did not know it was vegan.
Oh.
Yeah. And all I saw was like burger and mac and cheese.
So you did it.
I was like, this tastes like an interesting burger. It wasn't even the burger that threw me off. It was the mac and cheese.
Yeah, that one.
Vegan mac and cheese is fucking disgusting.
Watch the vegans swear up and down. It's because you haven't tried this one. It's because you haven't done that one.
Maybe I just had a bad batch from that place, but that was not it. I was like, this is disgusting. Like, it was horrible. I guess when you've tasted the good, then you know.
That was like the first time I bought corn mince. I never knew corn mince.
Yeah, corn is like.
I never knew it.
Was Linda McCartney's food all vegan as well? Or was it just veggie?
I don't know, actually. I actually don't know. But I remember buying it in Iceland and it was cheaper. Mm-hmm. So I just thought, like, let me actually buy it because it's cheaper. Come to find out that it really...
Nah, it's meat-free.
Like meat, I remember mince, and also, do you know we used to live off mince?
Oh my God, I still can't low-key do.
I have not had...
Really?
There were certain things that I've over-ate, so I can't eat them anymore. Spaghetti bolognese or pasta bolognese is one of them.
Yeah. No,
I used to bang out spaghetti bolognese like it was... Who's that? Should let me? Come in. Hello?
Happy birthday.
Take a seat, Mr. Jackson.
Happy birthday! Hello, Mr. Jackson.
Which one would you like? Which one would you
Can
like?
you sit there, please, Mr. Jackson?
Really? How are you doing?
My God.
Hello. Hello.
So I can't believe. Is anybody listening? I can't believe. Get on video right now. If you are listening, I need you on video.
Happy birthday.
I cannot believe what is happening right now.
I believe it. I'm here. How are you doing? How are you doing?
From the grave. Oh my God.
Hello.
Wait, I'm trying to get myself together.
while we compose ourselves.
Let me compose myself.
Oh,
So as you guys know,
Okay.
Audrey loves Michael Jackson.
Right.
And since it's her 40th, I thought it was imperative that I went and knocked on that man's grave.
oh my God.
And said, buddy, wake up.
oh my God.
I said, Michael, arise.
my God.
Arise. I need you to come and support my honey
There we go.
for her
God.
40th birthday.
And
Oh
what
my
a trip
God.
it's been. What a trip
And
it's
he is
been.
now here from the dead.
How can I help?
Michael Jackson himself.
I need to say, I'm very rarely shocked and gagged.
Did it work?
I am completely gagged. When I heard the door, I just thought it was the people next door because we're always fighting with them.
Yes.
Did it work? Was the shock okay?
I'm completely shocked. When I say I did not one part of me would have ever anticipated this happening.
It was very, very important that I got Michael Jackson for you.
I can't believe
if
you
I
did
could
this.
make any of your
No,
dreams.
you literally have made my dream come true for my 40th. I could not believe you did this.
I can't actually talk. Amanda's been great at getting this together. The whole team has been great at getting this together. We've been having
guys.
hush conversations, talking on the
Oh
phone,
my God.
trying to make this happen. And we were just like,
I had when I say no, this is the best birthday present I have ever received in
you
my
very
whole
much. No
entire
worries.
life.
I'm
Mr.
glad you're
Michael
part of it.
Jackson, thank
Glad you're
you.
part of it.
Sorry, I can't look at you. Thank you.
And I just can't even believe. And I'm going to the screening of the movie tonight.
She's going to the
Oh, you're going to
screening.
premiere tonight?
Yeah, so
it's
she's gonna
very,
see you.
linked.
Michael will go back to resting tonight, so don't worry. He won't be there tonight. But Mr. Michael, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for asking.
Thank you
Honestly,
so much
very
for
much
being
having me.
here.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for sorting it out with a big man on top to be like, let you have a day off from heaven.
No worries.
So you
I'm
can
glad to be here.
down here on earth.
Glad to be here.
This is your time. Was there anything you'd
Anything?
like to say to Mr. Michael Jackson?
Ask. Hello?
Oh my God! I just can't.
Speechless. Speechless.
Speechless.
That's how you make me feel.
Oh my God! Do that again.
Speechless.
You're
Speechless.
so talented.
That's how you make me
Oh
feel.
my God!
Nothing's real or possible if God is on my side. When I'm with you, I'm lost for words. I don't know what to say. My head's spinning like a carousel, and suddenly I pray, helpless and hopeless. That's how I feel inside. On the receipts, podcast girl, nothing is for real. Because the doggone girl is mine.
Woo! Oh my God!
Is this it?
This is perfect.
That was so beautiful.
That is
wonderful.
perfect and beautiful. Off the dome. How are you feeling, Audrey?
I am just complete and utter shock.
I'm so
I'm
happy.
so happy right now. I literally thought, that my birthday was so perfect. I was so happy. And then I can't believe you did this for me. I love you. I love you
too.
guys.
Credit.
Love you too.
You,
honey.
it does not get better than this.
Love you too.
Oh my God, Michael. Okay, so I would just like to let you know, I think you were the most talented person to ever grace this earth.
Thank you very much.
I think that your music and your legacy will live on forever. And you have fans that are not even born yet. And do you know what the number one thing that we say in our forums and our group chats and stuff is that you did it all without social media.
Yeah, there was no social media.
There was
back
no
then,
social
YouTube
media, and
back
you've managed
then.
to create
No
this
iPhone.
impact. No nothing.
There's no
And my mum went to see you in the 80s. She went to the Bad concert at Wembley and passed out. So it's hereditary,
July
it's
16th.
passed down. But you are a genius.
Thank
You
you
are
very
wonderful.
I'm honoured to be here, honestly.
Thank you so
On the night of the premiere as well for the film.
exactly. Oh my God, I'm so happy right now. I'm speechless.
There we go.
Just one question before you have to go.
No, it is here.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite album?
The favourite album of all time. I mean, Thriller, the biggest selling album of all time. Thriller,
Of course, yeah.
you know.
Still untouched.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we put a lot of work into Bad. You know, there were lots of things we did for Bad that was, groundbreaking. Even things like fitting more making it faster so we can fit more tracks onto the record, things like that was just, to put Leave Me Alone at the end after the Moonwalker release was quite a big thing.
And I love that you came back to me in bad form, because that is my favourite album. Right. Did they tell you that? Or is this just a coincidence?
It's just coincidence, yeah.
Because he knows
I have all the jackets here.
Yeah, because you're giving bad into dangerous vibes.
Okay.
And that is like my favourite era of Michael, so I really appreciate you.
No worries.
But Bad is my favourite album.
What is your favourite song?
I don't actually have, if I had to pick, it's between two. It's between I Can't Help It and Baby Be Mine.
Oh, okay.
And Bad and Smooth Criminal.
Oh.
And Liberian Girl.
Yeah, it's nice
and
to hear.
Off the Wall.
Yeah.
And Wanna Be Starting Something.
Yes.
And Butterflies. So I can't choose, but this is just, oh my God. I can't even believe this is happening.
It's great to get the reaction. So many cameras.
Oh my God.
It's a good system
I will cherish this moment forever.
Just to add to more moments, since Michael was here, I thought we should ask you some questions about Michael.
Okay.
And Michael will give us some voices if she's correct or not. So if you are correct, you will hear.
Okay.
Play that again first, please. Okay. And if you are wrong, she will hear.
Ow!
Okay. You also can do that live if you want. I think that might be quite fun.
Okay.
If you want to do it live, I think it'll be good for you.
What is the correct answer again? Okay, yeah.
And the wrong is ow, like you've been hurt.
Okay.
But in a Michael Jackson kind of way. Okay. So Mr. Michael Jackson here set the record for the most Grammy wins on a single night. Which album was that for?
That was for Thriller, and I believe he won 8 awards.
Oh, perfect. That was going to be my bonus point question. And you did it already, yeah. Oh. Okay.
Oh my God.
What was Mr. Jackson's favourite sport?
Ooh. That's hard, but I'm going to say it's either baseball or basketball.
Pick one.
I'm going to say basketball.
There we go.
Oh my God. Michael famously had a chimpanzee called Bubbles, but he also had a large a python. What was that called?
Oh God.
What was the snake called?
Oh, I don't know. That one I don't know. Yeah, is there any clues? I actually have got no idea.
Oh, maybe. There's a song made about the name. And it was done by a good friend of mine, Diana Ross.
Oh, Diana.
And she named the boa constrictor the name. You know.
She named the snake.
Give me
strength.
No, muscles.
Oh, muscles.
Oh. Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, thanks. You guys tried to help that one. I didn't know.
It's fine.
Okay. Which terrorist catastrophe did Michael Jackson narrowly avoid because he overslept?
Oh, 9/11?
Yeah, that's it.
He was scheduled for a meeting that day at the World Trade Center.
Look at God.
Okay. As well as selling over 500 million records worldwide, Michael was also an innovator, which is groundbreaking item. Which groundbreaking item did he patent and invent?
Which groundbreaking item
did he invent and patent?
What did he invent?
It helps with his dancing, if that helps.
Was it the shoes with the grip on the bottom or something?
Yeah, the anti-gravity shoe.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes, you only got one question
Oh
wrong.
my
Well done.
God. Thank you. Oh my God, I can't believe that is such a good, well thought out quiz.
Yeah. Should we have another rendition of Happy Birthday just to before you, Michael, has to go back to either heaven or hell, whichever God decided he should be at.
Oh my God.
Okay, he's lubricating out.
Really?
This guy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Audrey. Happy birthday to you.
Woo!
and enjoy the premiere tonight. I hope you enjoy it with your friends. Going with your friends?
I'm going on my own. But there'll be people there that I know. But I don't care about that. I just want to see the film.
They don't care about that. All they care about is you being there.
That's right.
Enjoy the film. I appreciate you having me on today. Is there any other question you want to ask me?
No, but we'd like on video for you to show us a certain dance moves.
Sure, yeah.
If that helps. So if you've got it in you to like make a little leg and dance.
Can you show me how to moonwalk properly?
Yes. Yes, we should. Yeah, we're
on
gonna
the slippery floor. Do you know what? It's not a coincidence that I wore my slippery shoes.
BRB, guys.
Oh my God. I actually cannot believe.
Yep. Okay, right. We said all BRB, we are BRB. There's been so much chaos in the studio.
Tolly.
Audrey has met her idol.
You've outdone yourself.
Mr. Michael Jackson. Thoughts? How was that?
Listen, when you got me Gucci shoes last year, I was over the moon, but you actually bought me Michael Jackson.
I bought you Michael Jackson.
I'm completely speechless. That is the best present I've ever had in my whole entire life. When he was knocking on the door, I truly thought it was our neighbours. Like, truly.
We have kind of beef about neighbours.
They knock on our door all the time, tell us to be quiet. And that's what I thought it was. And then I see Michael Joseph D. Jackson.
Not the Joseph Jackson.
At the door.
Not the Michael Joseph Jackson.
What? No, I'm completely gobsmacked. I'll never forget that. I'll never in my life forget that.
And a guest even better than Michael Jackson. So much better.
So much
in
better.
Real life.
She's in
alive. Makeup and contour blended.
Exactly. Skin on fleek, honey.
We have the amazing Paula Akpan.
Hey! Welcome. No, this is overdue, boy.
So this is long overdue.
Overdue.
Paula is a writer, an editor, a journalist, all of the amazing things. Paula has been that girl for a very, very long time. If you've ever been around the Black journalist space, Paula has been there.
Paula's your girl.
Paula has been there for years and years and years. We met each other on the days when I was still at BuzzFeed.
Yes.
And I think the Black writer girls, we had a little group.
Absolutely.
There was a nice little group of people.
Victoria,
Yes.
everyone. Oh.
And we were all just encouraging of each other. Like, you got an event, you go, girl, I'm going to support this. You're doing this thing, I'm going to report it on BuzzFeed. And I don't know if that still happens anymore because there's not much platforms.
No.
Yeah.
We're all just scrabbling.
We're all fighting for our lives now. But then those days we used to back each other. You're doing this, don't you worry, I've got you covered. I will copy it here.
I love that.
And fun fact, Paula actually edited our book, Keep the Receipts.
She sure did.
So when we were writing the book and we got the book deal, we were asked who we would want, and we were very, very adamant that it had to be a Black woman. I know Paula was a great writer, a great journalist, so I was just I think Paula would be absolutely amazing, and that happened. And thank you for that, honey.
Exactly. Thank you, by the way.
My honour. Are you joking? I got the exclusive.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah. And Paula had to deal with us be just not replying back. Paula sent edits.
What a time.
I'm just not
That was
going to
during
send it back.
COVID. What a time.
It was during COVID. A lot was going on.
We did what we could.
What we
Dark
did,
time.
it was published. So we can all say together, we've been Sunday Times bestseller because it was written by us, edited by Paula. So we all get that credit.
We sure do.
We actually all get that credit. And Paula is here with the book that she's written herself.
Yes.
Face pon the cover.
Yes.
And it's called When We Ruled.
Yes.
And it is now on paperback.
Yes.
Because it first came out in hardback and now it's hardcover. What do they call it? Is it hardback?
Hardback. Babes, you're no fun. Huh?
So, do you know how long it took us to figure out fiction and non-fiction as authors?
I still don't
We
know.
were like, what one is the real life one? And what?
That still confuses me to this day.
Because they should be the other way around.
It should. Fiction should be fake and non-fiction should no.
Okay. You
Never
tell
mind.
us.
Fiction is fake. Non-fiction is real.
But it should be the other way around.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
The fact that fiction means this word.
Yeah.
Fiction means made up. So it's the nun. The nun feels like, that's the
should be
non
the
true.
fake. Yeah.
Anti-made up. But I can see that I'm saying these words.
No, I get it. No. So this would be an anti-made up.
Anti-made up.
Okay.
But I did kind of fictionalize some of it.
Okay, tell us the premise of the book. I think you're the right person to say it.
Thank you. So it's around 12 queens and warriors that ruled across the African continent. And I actually went on a research trip for like 2 months around like 10 present day countries.
Oh, nice.
And it spans from like 1,000 years ago to the 21st century across like South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Madagascar. It was, it's a lot just trying to rifle through all of these histories that we've been told are unimportant or have been rewritten, re-edited, and not actually understanding how much women and people that we'd understand as genderqueer today have shaped the continent. So that is a book. Like, you've got this dynasty in South Africa where like women have ruled across 200 years. So passing power from like the mother to daughter, auntie to niece. You've got people who were very staunchly anti-imperialist, like Rana Valuna from Madagascar. So like when they were trying to colonize her island, she was like, no. And she saw like Christianity, because it was often used as like a tool for colonialism and kind of erasing indigenous like divinities. She saw it as a complete threat, so then started just offing the people in her kingdom who had converted to Christianity.
Like killing them dead.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether poison.
Yeah.
And if you threw up, basically you had to ingest 3 chicken skins alongside this poison and some rice. If you managed to throw up all of the chicken skin, it meant that your life had been spared.
Right.
If you died, you died.
Wow, okay.
So there was that, and also a cliff that they just threw people off.
So it's really interesting, because I remember seeing someone arguing about that, because the common idea about Christianity is that it was brought into African continents, right? And there was someone that was arguing that there was actually a presence of Christianity before this. And like history seems to be like modeled in that sense. Some people are like, no, it was because people took over and that's when Christianity came over, where someone was like, no, there was examples. I think they said the first church was, I can't remember.
Ethiopia.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, what's the truth and what's like, because obviously history, none of us were there, she says. Wow, what a thought, Talani. But it's just like, it depends on the book you read.
Yeah.
That tells you what it is that you should believe, right?
versions,
So it is this very interesting thing of like, how does that kind of research, what does that look like to define what it is? Like, how did we get Christianity? And if you go to Africa now, we've come back from Nigeria, you're not walking 10 steps before you see another church.
Same in Ghana.
It is everywhere. And there's loads of like cultural religions and like the Oshuns and all of that kind of things as well, that kind of like that are very separate to religion. So yeah, it's just interesting to see how this took over so much and how it took over what the people originally believed in.
Well, there's like multiple things can be true at once, right? So like we do have the first churches in Ethiopia, but also there were these indigenous belief systems that were predating Christian colonialism. But at the same time, you had this thing called syncretism, where because you might be punished for, being a priest of whatever divinity it is that you followed, you would almost like hide your belief system behind the saints. So it's why you had some people almost like presenting the Orisha as saints and, priestly figures so that they could worship. And it was like the attempt to meld these different religions together. And then you see that influence across time, because people speak of the African influences on American church practices, with the field hollers, for example, and, how people act and move in church. Those are they're meant to be very inspired from particularly West African ways of worship. So like you have all of these things like blending in together at the same time. But I actually wanted to ask you, as like my God-fearing friends, right? When there is this kind of history with colonialism and Christianity, like as African Christians, like how do you detangle that for yourselves?
Do you know what? In all honesty, I don't tangle it. Like if I'm being completely honest, I when I'm like thinking about my faith and my Christianity, whatever, I'm not thinking, oh, but the white man gave this to you. Like, it's not separate. Like, do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if I'm being honest, so many bad things have been done in the name of Christianity.
Yeah.
Insane things have been done in the name of Christianity. So if I deep that too much, I have to see that that's a human error. That's not God for me, right? And like, Christians, people are flawed people. So if I'm saying I'm serving an entity that is God, I'm not looking at what Christians are doing. Because if I look at what Christians are doing, I'm not on it.
Headaches.
Yeah, I'm actually not on it. Like outside of colonialism, what Christians are doing in this day and age and like killing people and all things like, it's just like, I can't say I'm backing that. Like that's crazy. And even like the hate that Christians have for certain groups, like I cannot say I back that. Because that's just a people thing. So I'll be very honest. I don't think about, well, the church was brought to you by white people or colonizers and things like that.
Yeah.
Because if we deep that, they were killing us. Like Christians were swapping our lives for mirrors and gold. That's crazy.
100%. 100%.
That's crazy.
We weren't even as valuable as gold and mahogany.
Do you know how crazy that is? So I can't, and I don't know if that makes me ignorant, and it probably does, but I do think ignorance is liquid pride sometimes. And I remember as a child, that was such a big thing for me because I would just keep asking questions. I was like, but how comes? But how comes? But how comes? And I can't lie, till today, nothing's been answered.
What were you told?
Like, like genuine, there was no, it's because of this sort of thing. It was either like given to be like, just have faith. And rather than that, the question not actually being answered. And I don't know if a Christian theological person will actually be like, and here's the answer. Because I don't think they know. And I think it's almost best to be like, just believe in your faith rather than what's actually going on.
Yeah, similar. I feel like when it comes to spirituality, I've never like, I guess there is that conflation of like science and spirituality and like truth versus like perception versus reality and all of these different questions. But I don't think I've ever detangled it. I think what has kind of given me hope and what I've leaned into is once I learned that Christianity existed before, but like, pre-colonial times. So that definitely helped. And that also like there was different versions, and like the version that we know now, it's been rewritten and it's been adapted like so many times. But for me, I feel like I've always lent into the core message and like the 10 Commandments especially. And like for me, that's just helped me navigate life and like everything else, even though it's so important to question things. And I would never like come down on anybody for questioning them or having doubts or having a question mark. But I think faith is like a really big thing. It's like sometimes not everything can be explained. Yep. But like when I understand like history and how it's worked and the fact that like anything can be misinterpreted or twisted to the person's that person's advantage. Do you know what I mean? So when I think about how it was used as a weapon, I think, well, that's people misinterpreting it for their own good, but the message is still the message kind of thing. So yeah, but if I'm being completely honest, I haven't unpacked it to its core.
And if I'm being completely honest, there's certain people that I talk to who are like, I guess, they're not Christians, but they're very smart. And they say some things, I'm like, oh, wow, that's not.
Yeah, sometimes it's
that's a point.
Like, no, literally the other day, I saw this TikTok and I'm not going to lie, it got me and I just had to just override. Do you know what I mean?
I run my intelligence quickly. Yeah.
And there's just like a wave of people just being like, like the devil can only affect you if you believe that he's real. Yeah, it's real. Kind of thing. So some girl was like, once I removed the devil, it wasn't affecting me because it was not a thing. Whereas before, when I was like deep in my Christianity, I was always worrying about the devil this, the devil that, the devil this. And now that I've removed that from my life, I don't have that fear anymore. And then I saw another video where this girl was like, basically, she was basically saying, I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, Satan was minding his business. Like, so much emphasis is placed on Satan, but actually, if you read the Bible, like, what did he actually do? Kind of thing. And if I was
not playing devil's advocate for Satan,
I know, literally. And like, she was like, what did he actually do? Like, compared to a God that is just full of contradictions. And she was like, if I truly wanted to fuck with people, I would mask myself as a God that you can't question, that you can't. That, allows all these crazy things to happen, that seemingly has the answers but does nothing about it, and have people brainwash and worship me and make me believe that I'm the good one when really it's the people that are free from that. And I was like, oh.
Yo.
And I was like...
It's one of those things where it's like...
I was like,
what I'm glad
And I'm not
about
even
is
saying
that
it
like
properly.
I think the Christianity sometimes, a lot of Christians believe in God out of fear. Not because they love the Lord, they fear the devil.
Yeah.
They fear hell. Yeah, like as in it's
I was so scared.
and I think so many of our parents, that's what it's like.
The emphasis on the
because
devil.
they cannot even let you, like you can be like, hey, what? You're not talking badly about a pastor in front of me. Like, isn't it? They will not let you criticize anything. And it's like, that's fear. That's not actually, if you can know, I love
not
God
faith.
so much. And that's why I think this is like, a lot of it is rooted in fear. But I will say what I did have to teach myself was that other things are not witchcraft and evil. So I think because I'm a Christian, I think like, all the time. I was like, oh, that's the devil. That's witchcraft. And I had to be like, what if it's not witchcraft?
Yeah.
It's just not like, it's just what somebody else believes in.
100%.
Because I wouldn't call another religion witchcraft. I'd just say it's another religion.
Yeah.
But a lot of the like African cultures and what they worship, I think I was taught it was evil.
Yeah, and we were taught that in our own cultures, even through the films.
Yeah,
Oh my God, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It was over for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I wasn't even allowed to watch Sabrina the Teenage
No,
Witch.
same.
Yeah.
Harry Potter?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. What was your, because were you brought up in a Christian household?
Yeah.
And how did you reject it? Were you into it? Like what was the...
So, yeah, I was brought up in a Christian household. We had like a lot of nighttime prayers together as a family. Everyone would turn to the worship book. We had our own... Did you ever get those books where it was like for 365 days of the year and there'd be like a little story that was like...
Each day, yeah.
Each day.
There was one called Rhapsody of Realities. It's from a church called Christ Embassy, which I've got so many question marks about now, but alas.
But yeah, I definitely feel what you're talking about in terms of the fear, and also so much is coded as like warfare and like spiritual warfare, that you're going to war. There was none of the kind of relationships with God or Christ that I could see my white friends having.
You were fighting against the enemy.
yes.
There was always an enemy and you were fighting against such enemy. Yeah.
It's actually like, it was relentless.
Yeah.
And I didn't find the peace that other people were saying that they were finding, especially at a young age when you're questioning everything. And yeah, I don't know why, but we were living in Enfield. I'm from North London. We're living in Enfield and travelling to Chiswick for church. Before we were going to Ruach in Brixton.
Oh, wow.
So this was like a huge chunk of the day. And do you know how like draining this has to be for a 15-year-old to say, I actually want to stay home and do some homework?
What happened? How did that go down?
It didn't.
It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. But I think, especially because the emphasis on homework, my parents were like, okay.
Yeah.
You want to be a studious one. Okay. And yeah, I really couldn't connect, especially because we were going to primarily white churches as well.
Oh, interesting.
After Iraq, we were just going to a lot of white churches, and I couldn't connect with like the guitar strumming, and it wasn't a space that I enjoyed being in. But I thought to myself that I would come back to it eventually. That hasn't happened yet.
Oh, interesting.
But I am a lot more receptive to like just understanding my friends' faith, and also like so many people I love are God-fearing, whichever God that is. And the way, like, I'm so envious of faith. I'm so envious of just knowing that something's got you.
Yeah.
Someone has got you, no matter what that form takes. And I think I find that faith actually in kind of like doing my history work instead. Because like with this research trip, it felt like there were so many things that were happening that by the end, I was like, this feels led. Like it feels like ancestrally led.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's loads to talk about. But have you ever felt connected to an ancestor?
Not really, but it's not, I wasn't really raised.
Yes,
that
because
way.
those are people speak about,
Yeah.
I feel this, like you just said, led by an ancestor, whatever. I'll be very honest. No part of my life have I felt like...
Talk your shit.
Have I felt... And no, black people are going to kill me. Look, I'm aware there's people before me. Of course there's people before me that done things before me. And you don't know me. I rate my elders. But do I feel like ancestors are... I don't know if I do. So explain the feeling of feeling led by an ancestor. I can be in a place and be like, my people have been here before. I can feel that. Is that the feeling?
That's literally what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a specific, my great grandma.
Right, okay.
I feel like she's pulling me to this particular place. I think of ancestors as in all of our ancestors at once. And like, so on this trip, I was like flying between Accra and Kumasi and researching Nanaya Santwa. And I sat down next to this old man, just asked him how he was. We started chatting. His name is Mr. Asante Man, and he's lifelong friends with the current reigning Asantehene, so like the ruler of the Asante region. And he was showing me pictures of them together, and I was like, okay. Went to my accommodation. The woman who runs the accommodation, she is descended from royalty. So then I was just doing like a quick like interview with her. Went to when I was in Benin, I was like speaking to descendants of some of the rulers that I was researching. So there I was focusing on Tassi Hangbe, who was ruling over Dahomey. So we'd know it from the all-women fighting regiment, the Woman King, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And they weren't sure if her bloodline had even survived, these descendants, because you have the ruler's name in your name somewhere, and there weren't as many people named with Hangbe in their name. And then when I was at that museum, someone spoke to someone, and then they were like, okay, we've got you in to meet her. And I was like, who? The present day reigning Tassi Hangbe, who is descended from that lineage. And I sat down with her. I was shaking. Oh my gosh. In the pictures, she looks stoic as hell. Yeah. And I'm just in the frame. And then when I was in South Africa in Durban, I met this amazing museologist. So someone who like works in the museum, is almost like a custodian of it. And it's called Campbell Collections. And it was like donated, like the building was donated by these white British settlers. So already you're like, yeah. She had like a month before I got there discovered that there were shackles in that house, and went down into the basement and just like really started to question. Like, she had never thought that any kind of violence may have taken place on the property, but then was deeping that the windows and the doors, they only open from the outside. There are bars, she was finding other evidence, and like then she was kind of detangling this with me at the same time. And like there were constantly things where it was just like right time, right place. And I guess maybe because of my history work, I'm just like, there is so much that we have lost as a people, so much that has been taken from us, erased. And to find all of the ways that we have, like, knowledge has survived, and that has been because of our ingenuity, the ways that, people would braid messages into their hair and like bead work, and the fact that there are so one of the rulers, listen guys, I can talk.
No. But you know what I was going to say? It's because everything you're saying, as a Christian, I'd say, oh, that's God. That's God that's allowed me to meet this person. That's God's timing. So it's interesting that you're like, those are my ancestors. So I think it's just depending on what it is that you believe in that's guiding you.
I think so. And like, I think for me, I was just like, there is something else, like someone else might call it luck.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And for me, because this is all of my work is just so personally rooted, like I care so deeply about the urgency of collecting Black histories and ensuring that it's more accessible for the people that come after us. And to be like kind of led in these ways, like it just felt like I'm being held, I'm being directed, and it's not necessarily that someone's up there pulling strings and saying, okay, now we need to send her this way, but just the fact that I was able to even access these things that weren't supposed to be accessed. Like there are so many African archives and places of like memory that have been, burnt down or destroyed on purpose, because this is a way of ensuring that there is an official narrative that always rises to the top. So to be finding all of these snippets and being able to piece them together, like whoever that is, God, luck, or ancestral, like it, I felt led.
That's what I mean by that. When I say like racism was just a perfect job, like I said, even the idea that they like burnt up archives so we won't even know. So like, cause if you don't know, you don't know. You are under the assumption that the story they've told you of who you are is who you are.
Absolutely.
And I know it's like we often see things if like you're deprived from a king, from a queen, and when you hear it's quite cringy. It's like cringy
you're like
people. Who've got the world tattoos on their back that you hear it from, right? But it's like there is truth in it. And us not knowing it makes us be like, oh, thank you, sir, thank you, sir, thank you, because we just don't know who the fuck we are. Like, and if you don't know who you're from, you're gonna accept whatever story someone's given you. If, for example, you never met your parents, whatever your aunt told you about her is what you believe. You don't know anything about that woman. It's whatever anybody told you about her. So I think there is a thing in like knowing who it is that we are and what it is that we like, what we come from. Because I will say this, and I believe this all in my heart. There are some attributes that are only held highly and well by Black women. There are some things that like, we do that thing well, boy. Like as in like we can do that thing well.
Definitely. Because even the idea of like ancestors and stuff, I don't know. I feel like it feels like a very African American thing as well. Like I don't ever remember hearing that sort of terminology as a Black Brit. Do you know what I mean? But it was always something that I've heard African Americans like having that connection, and I guess because they've got a longer history to American land. So maybe that's why. So that's why I'm interested in how you tapped into the idea of your ancestors.
Yeah, I mean, African Americans, that it comes across corny as hell. Especially when they're like, their wildest dreams. My ancestors' wildest dreams. They weren't checking for you. They were trying to survive.
They didn't know what was possible for them to dream you up.
Exactly. I guess like when I'm talking about ancestors, it can be very recent. It's not just,
Right, okay. Because I always think so far down your history line.
No, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm also thinking about, people who've been active in like the 50s, the 60s, like that is still ancestral. I guess there's no, you say like my ancestors, I guess I'm always thinking of our ancestors. I'm always thinking in the collective, especially because this really showed me like when I can't remember, I think I was maybe in like Togo, like passing through Togo, and I've always thought that Akpan is just like specifically Nigerian.
Yeah. Do you know I thought it was Ghanaian?
Wow. You see?
I thought it was Ghanaian. Yeah. I didn't know it was Nigerian.
No, and it's also, you'll find like a lot of Togolese people with Akpan, Beninese, like, and how it really shows that we've like migrated, and there are so many African like nomadic cultures.
Yes, yeah.
And so like I think it's so easy to be like me, but actually when you start thinking about the collective, how we've always exchanged ideas across African societies, forget the rest of the world, like African technologies, and how we have, calculate the way that we were even seeing weaponry from Western countries and empires, being like, okay, let's do that here.
Yeah.
Like that ruler that I was talking about, Rana Valuna, the anti-imperialist, she was like, we need to create our own munitions, Malagasy munitions here, and then we can export, but also be sustainable, self-sustainable. And like, this is why colonial empires had such an issue with her, because her and her husband, so she was his widow after he passed, but they wanted to build Madagascar that we know today into like an island empire that would rival, Britain and the French. And when he passed, she was like, okay, bet, let's do this. Let's do this. And the fact that she was rejecting Western imperialism, because they wanted to colonize, the British had already colonized Mauritius, so we're talking like the 19th century, and they saw this very lucrative island that they wanted to claim. So then she became cast as like a savage demon.
Which is not far from what they anybody that wants to do that. No, you're savage. You kill people. You eat animals. You
even down to angry black women. It's not much of a disconnect.
Exactly.
The distance is
so close. That's such a good point.
So like she gets cast as like this witch, and because it's feeding into like these white colonial imaginations of what these, you had all these swashbuckling adventures that were being published by people undertaking expeditions, and so that married up very nicely with hating a woman, specifically this brown African woman, but at the same time you had Victoria, princess at the time, being readied for the throne. So they couldn't make it about womanhood. They had to make it about this pure white queen versus her savage counterpart. And like, don't get me wrong, Ranavaluna was mad. She was unhinged. But how much of this has been down to the fact that she dared to say, we don't want this brand of civilization that you think that you're going to institute over here.
Who the fuck do you think you are? Like I said, imagine a world where I go somewhere, I'm like, they're not doing this how I think I will do it. I'm going to now take it. And like I said, who the fuck do you not think you are?
Literally
mad.
It gets wilder and wilder.
And we see it in everything. We see it in music. We see in all of our things. I'm like, I'm going to take this actually. And so often history feels like it's been like, all right, here you are. And that's not always necessarily true. There are many people who are like, no, we're not having this. But history tells us we were like, you readily gave it away. We were trying to help you, so we helped you.
Exactly. And and I think the erasure of history is actually so mad because there's so many like blind spots. Do you know what I mean? Like this narrative that we were these malleable people that just bent over
so we're like, hey, cool.
and that just, fell for the okie doke when actually there was a lot of revolution, there was a lot of pushback, and like that history's just been erased. But also, so so we had all these great women that were ruling things, and it probably felt the world was probably a lot more like calmer, it was better. Did patriarchy come in with colonization?
Patriarchy already existed. And like this is, I think, one of the things that I was uncovering a bit more across the book, like, and especially speaking to interviewees, because they were like, what was it about my culture that meant that
colonialism
was readily accepted or that it fit somehow? Because especially when I was researching the Swazi people, so I was looking particularly Swaziland or Eswatini. It's like a landlocked country within South Africa. And this ruler, Lobotsibeni, also from the 19th century, she used diplomacy to try and get herself out from between a hard... what's the phrase? The rock
on a hard place.
That one. Because she had the Boers, who were like Dutch settlers, and went on to become Afrikaners, who obviously wanted their land. Yeah. They thought that these people were paying tribute to them and recognizing Swazi authority. They understood that they were buying land. So you even had this disconnect in terms of communication, or people not able to read on paper because this is not how they do dealings here. Yeah. You had these terms like freehold and lease that is just not, especially when you have kinship networks and you work on like kin, like what was your ancestor doing? This is how we relate to each other, and therefore you are welcome in my space, in my village, within my network. So you had this misunderstanding, but then at the same time, they were trying to seek British, they wanted to be understood as like a British sovereign state, so they would be protected by the British against the Boers who were encroaching on them. And while I was kind of researching the Swazi, I was learning more about the Swazi village and like the place that the grandmother's hut holds within a homestead. Like if anyone was going to go on a long trip, the night before they went on the trip, they went into the grandmother's hut to sleep, because that's where you get protection. That's where you're almost like anchored before going away. When you come back from that long trip, your first night is spent in the grandmother's hut. It's where like you would run to if there were any kind of problems that needed arbitration, or if you fucked up somehow and you run to grandmother's hut, no one can touch you in there.
And it's so fascinating because no one, and I feel like you see it now, like no one ever talks about a father's love or father's prayer. It's always there's something about a mother's prayer. There's always something about a mother's love. So I do think women hold this power of like protection in families.
100%. And like, not just in families, but in like communities. So like there's a chapter on Moremi Ajashoro, who is like known as like Yoruba spy queen, and allowed herself to be captured because her village, like Ile-Ife, was being regularly raided, and it was obviously like the spiritual, it kind of considered the altar, and allowed herself to be captured by the raiders and then brought secrets back to her people.
Wait, tell me her story in full.
Oh my gosh.
Her name is
Moremi Ajashoro.
Okay.
And there's like a massive statue, like golden statue of her in Ile-Ife today.
Okay.
But yeah, so with Moremi, I think what became really clear across the research, because so much of it was around the marketplace, how the marketplace is not only like this bustling hub, but there's a lot of spirituality as well in terms of various orisha that are aligned with like money, wealth, and, you know, sustenance, but also like the crossroads. It's where people would meet. You arranged to meet someone at the marketplace, you know, like 400, 500, 600 years ago. It was always a marking point. And for this marketplace to be like raided, like, you know, that the children of the Orisha kind of thing, it was such like an affront. But also I think what was fascinating alongside Moremi's story was the impact of women in marketplaces, the fact that it was always the women traders who would try to lower the prices down for that day for all of the visitors of the market. And if they had to raise them, then they would bring it back down again quickly. That you had schemes that were very similar to like partner schemes where there's just always
till today,
right?
Till today,
always money rotating and like this real community network as well. Like it was through marketplaces that sometimes they would organize protests, resist against government puppets. You'd have like alakes who would become like British puppet kings, and then it would be the market women who would be organizing the people, teaching people, you know, throw back these gas canisters in we're talking like 1940s, throw back these gas canisters at the police. Like this is how you resist. And the place that women have held occupying power, even like spiritual power. There were places that I couldn't go on that research trip because I was on my period.
Oh, yeah.
And
there's certain churches today, so there's celestial churches and white garment churches where you cannot go to church if you're on your period.
Yeah.
Like they still believe that very much. And that's a cultural thing. That's not a Christianity thing.
No.
It's a cultural thing.
It's definitely a cultural thing, and like the almost reverence and fear that you can bleed and you're still going about your day. There's like a reverence and fear in terms of like, because there's, what's it called? The mogya, like the life force, like the women and, you know, people who give birth are seen as literally a connection, a life force to creating a whole other person. What happens if this person is now bleeding and is cooking? Like, where does this life force go? Like the fear of like what a woman on her period could do. So like you couldn't cook for a king or a ruler while you're on your periods because like, I don't know what kind of spells you're going to throw. It's fascinating, and like that, there was so much I didn't go into it thinking about and came out just like, wow, like the tapestry of the African continent, like women have been holding it down.
Yeah, that we have truly have, especially and loads of like African households are very matriarchal because of how it's like Ghanaians massively. It's because especially how women just tend to hold it down.
Yeah, we really do just be getting things done, just finding solutions, getting on with it no matter what. Yeah, it's definitely been like an intentional thing to minimize us because I truly believe people are scared of the power that women hold. Simple as that. So when you know something is powerful, of course you're going to try and suppress it. Of course you're going to try and minimize it because, you don't want it to overtake the status quo kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you did that your Western thought was like, because there's certain things, so there's still like certain parts of Nigeria, for example, they have a Kabiyesi, they have a king, or like there's like, but sometimes you go into these places and your Western ideology makes you think, this is like, makes you roll your eyes a little bit to be like, oh, do you guys believe that? Or if that's true, why can't you do this? Because like some places still believe that they have the power to, I don't know, decipher what's going to happen in the future, or they can do certain things, but it's like, okay, so why have you not done it? So was there anything that you did that your Western thought was like, yeah, sure?
Honestly, I think kind of no, purely because like I'm also a historian, so I'm like, I need to record all of this.
Yes.
This isn't actually just about me. I think what I did actually struggle with sometimes was having conversations with descendants of rulers who had been very integral in enslaving Africans and, upping basically that whole complex. And the excuses that come out that, enslavement was much worse, like in the Americas, and at least when people like Africans were enslaved here, like they were treated like family, and those kinds of arguments where you can kind of see continental Africans who maybe struggle with the weight of complicity, just being like, no, this like anything that's negative was brought to us by the British.
But there was but we had a hand in this.
Absolutely.
Well, just bad stuff was also happening on the continent.
Yeah,
before, because we're humans. No one was ever going to be perfect.
No one.
Yeah.
And like, Njinga, like actually on the front of the book was integral to upping enslavement within the region that they ruled over.
Really?
And that also is part of African history, our histories. And I think like one of the things that I really wanted to do with this book was to completely spurn the idea that, because they're African women or genderqueer people, that they are inherently good, that they're inherently right.
Yeah.
And actually, no, there are so many of these people are messy and flawed as fucking that has to be engaged with properly in order to understand our histories, or else we're always putting up these unreachable standards for ourselves for future generations. Like, what difference it would make if we were like, no, this person was wild.
This was fucked.
Not every day, like, we was Kangs, we was Queens. Some of the Kangs and Queens were mashed
we're
up.
doing mad things. Yeah. And I think especially when it comes to slavery, the accountability aspects of something. I was like, oh no, they just came in. No, there were people who enabled it.
Yes.
If everybody was not on it, it would have been harder for it to happen. Well, I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened. We never know, like weapons or whatever, but it's like, it would have been harder. Like everybody goes to Ghana and goes to the Amino Castle. Yeah. I fucking hated it. I think it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. And in this tour, so they're taking you this tour around the castle, and there's a bit where they lock you in the room to get you to feel what it was like.
That's not good.
And truly, we was locked in that room at most a minute. And I was thinking, get me the fuck out of here. And for me to say that I've never felt ancestors, in that moment I was like, I know people have died in it. Like I said, I know the fucked up things have happened in this room. I don't want to simulate that. I don't want to, and here is the Wi-Fi version of it. Like imagine. I don't want to fucking imagine what's happened here. And there's a bit in the story where they're telling you at the castle and they're like, yeah, our people allowed this to happen. So you're just like, oh. So all the blame is, obviously the blame is there, but like, why did we allow?
Well, it's like, also these things, it's not that long ago. Like, this spins me. I'm a historian, but it spins me constantly that 1950s, like, it's not that long ago.
1950s is not that long ago. Wait, 1950s?
And we still, we still had colonial, like, massacres and onslaughts taking place, like, early 20th century, continuing through to, obviously, today. But, yeah, on the African continent, it's not that long ago. And I guess like, especially with, I was locked in the room that Nana Santua was kept as well. I had the same thing. Like you can't even see your hands.
Yeah, it's like horrible.
And to know that people were experiencing this and living this, and if there's something incredibly visceral that people, I think we struggle to engage with.
Yeah.
I think we really struggle to engage with unless you seek it out. And like, especially if you're traveling back to, you know, Ghana or Nigeria, you want to do Dirty December.
Yeah.
You're not actually trying to go to a castle and be locked in this room.
Yeah.
But I guess what I really try to push as well is that it's not all just big history. I think it also needs to be like the small histories in your life, in your world. Like, I feel like you do such a good job with this in terms of like asking your mum like questions about her life. Like recording that is so important, and like constantly just encouraging people to like ask your parents, ask your grandparents, just like what was life like? Like I've actually started doing this thing where, well, a family reached out to me and were like, will you record our grandparents' histories? And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I spent a week in Lincoln, didn't I? Was recording the histories of like the grandfather. He was a governor in Zambia, but before it was Zambia, when it was Northern Rhodesia.
Do you know, I didn't even know there was a before Zambia.
Yeah.
There's so much of, like, I think sometimes when you are from somewhere, you just you're it, but you don't actually know about it. There's a difference between someone who can sing and someone who studied music.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's, there's a difference between those two things.
Well, you know about where you're from.
Yeah.
And you realise that obviously Africa is massive and it's a continent and there's so many different cultures.
I don't even know if I can say I know that much about, like, I'm Nigerian, I speak
same.
Yoruba, but if it comes to compared to someone else, there's many stories that I actually have no idea about.
Yeah, same.
And I think a lot of us are like that, we're it, so we don't bother to figure out what it's actually about.
Yeah, and also like Nigeria, for example, is massive.
So massive, yeah.
It's huge. So there are so many traditions, like, you know, talking just about like Yoruba traditions.
Yeah.
That is one ethnic group. There are like hundreds. So like, I think I think we maybe sometimes get a bit overwhelmed because it's so big.
Yeah.
But I found that like with doing these small bits of work, things start to slot into place. And like with this family, this is why I love doing oral histories. So like oral histories is a method of ensuring that your interlocutor, the person that you're in conversation with, is the narrator, and you're just nudging them and guiding them a bit as they walk you through the history of their life and how these life experiences can give you insights into bigger events. So for example, he gave me, while he was working in copper mines in what we call Tanzania today, he went swimming with his friends and they jumped into the pool. All the white people jumped out, and then they were in there for about a minute, and then they noticed the water level was lowering until it was empty. So they just, because these two black men jumped into this swimming pool in like the 1950s, they emptied that shit out. They didn't want to actually even share space with them and considered that the water would not be good enough to actually continue using in the pool. So you may as well drain it and get them to leave. Like all of these various stories that, you know, he's just like, this is just, you know, my life. Oh, this isn't very important or interesting. And then it gives you a whole other insight into that society at that point. It's wild.
So would you say, as a historian, there are things that you find out in the past that now affect our everyday? Because when you're talking about the swimming thing, it made me realise a myth that black people are not good swimmers. And some people said it's linked to because we weren't allowed to swim back in the days or whatever. Is there anything that you realise history-wise that's like it's actually affecting us in this day?
I mean, even that swimming thing is untrue.
yeah, because that's the myth that black people can't swim because we weren't allowed to swim, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. Like,
or because of our bone density or all of that kind of stuff.
Nonsense. Like, there are a number of examples of pre-colonial African societies where there were like schools for teaching young people to swim in rivers, just being careful in case there are fucking crocodiles.
Yeah.
But things that you see through today, oh my gosh, so much. Like I was thinking a lot about, for example, Madagascar. When I was there, so I was staying in accommodation in Antananarivo, which is the capital of Madagascar. And in my hotel, every night, there was a young brown woman with like an older white man. And I was like, okay. Next night, same thing. Next night, next. And I flagged this to one of my interviewees, and she was, I'm so surprised that you picked up on that. And she kind of talked to me about the way that Frenchmen, particularly because Madagascar was colonized by the French, there is some sort of subsidy or something that means that it's encouraged, lucrative perhaps, to travel to former colonies and build a life there, because obviously they're still speaking French, they have French schools, and seeing these brown women as like expendable and like people being approached on the streets like, how much?
Ooh.
And that this is just the lay of the land in Madagascar. So like it's so common to see brown women with older white men. So that's one thing. But I think also like something that I think is still affecting us today, I see it with Ethiopia, for example, like the Tigrayan genocide, and how that has been very much spurred on by inter-ethnic strife, but then you also see it in terms of colorism and who is regularly presented as Ethiopian. There are so many dark-skinned ethnic groups, but it tends to be Amharic people who are lighter skins with perhaps longer features.
And their curls are different.
Exactly, really long hair that are presented as the Ethiopian babes. There are dark-skinned Ethiopians who, you know, do like scarification and body modification as ways of like honoring their cultural traditions, and who gets raised at the top, and how it like blends with colorism, texturism, featurism, all of it. That's very much been instructed by our histories. I think like the most staggering thing for me was researching Rwanda, and how the Belgium occupation very much put in motion so much for the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsis, because while you had there was like feudalism that was put in place before there was any interaction with colonizers. You had Tutsi nomads who entered this space that we now call Rwanda and believed that they were better than the Hutu farmers, especially because, and this would be exacerbated later, because of their features, because the Tutsis would often be characterized as having long features, long faces. They almost look like a European man, but black kind of thing. So when colonialists encountered them, they were like, you're fit to rule. And because the Hutus presented again as being more squat with wider noses, you're made to work. And so then the Belgians, they instituted these ID cards that now said whether you were Hutu, Tutsi or Twa, who were another like a forest people, but they make up like 1% of the population. And this elevation of Tutsi people over everyone else, ensuring that you had Tutsi schools that Hutu people weren't encouraged to go to, because you need to be working, you need to be, you know, farming coffee, which was now becoming one of the biggest exports in this country. And so then, because of this extreme Tutsi supremacy, then a desire for the Hutus, who were making up 84% of the population, they were like, okay, like this, how can this minority be ruling over us and getting all of this access? And then this led towards the events of, you know, Hutu power, and then what we know of the genocide today.
It feels like the same template being used across the world.
Every single time.
And because you see it, like even within African American history, the sort of the division between light skin and dark skin, like who could even access certain HBCUs, which is crazy because I didn't even know. I thought that anyone that was black could go to HBCUs, but there was colorism even within that and Jack and Jill programs and stuff like that. And obviously in Brazil, and obviously we see it in Jamaica and all the rest of it. It feels like a template that's just been carried through. But I'm really passionate about colorism. How much of it do you think is, how much responsibility can we now take for carrying it on versus how it being like given to us and taught? Like how much accountability do we now need to take on for perpetuating it still? Because even us here as Black Brits, we still perpetuate it. And like people will say it's getting better, it isn't. I just think we're better at hiding it.
I think we have to take a good deal of accountability in terms of this can only continue until we break it. But I think that there has been a whole world order built on anti-Blackness and unlearning, undoing that. Like, it's not even just on a personal level. Like, as we know, it's institutional and has existed across a number of different cultures and societies. Like, the way that other cultures can understand that, you know, we might have it bad here, but we're not this dark skin, blah, 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 blah. And I think that there is a huge number that has been done on us. So like, I think that I try to give some grace, but that doesn't mean that we don't stop the work because like it needs to be better for those coming after us. And like, I guess like, sorry, because I just love talking and
please
do. No, but
please,
I've got questions.
No, please, yeah.
Like, what does like your work around like colorism and like that passion, like what does that look like for you?
I think for me, I'm always thinking about little Black girls in particular. I know it affects Black boys, but I think it disproportionately affects Black girls. And so for me, it's just always about trying to sort of course correct the narrative that's already there. Like it's really important for me that little Black girls coming up don't grow up with the same issues that we dealt with. So for me, it's as simple as if I see Black children around me, Black girls in particular, speaking life into them and letting them know, like, even if it's not necessarily, because you might also be doing it in a way that you're pointing out something that wasn't there. So I'm not like, hey, little Black dark-skinned girl, you're so beautiful.
She's like, I didn't say I wasn't.
That. Yeah, exactly. It's like, my mama told me. My mama told me. I already knew that. Do you know what I mean? But just speaking life into children around me, like whether that be people that I know or strangers, like definitely correcting family members so that these things don't get passed down, because a lot of these narratives are still, unfortunately, they're still active. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously talking about it on this platform, like if anything is connected to colorism, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to talk about it. So I just think it's really important to always keep the conversation going, like, you know, if I see fit. But I can't say that I'm doing, like I've got like, you know, a charity or anything like that.
Soon.
But soon. But I do, but it is something that really bothers me, because I just think about how impactful it is to your development as a Black child, as a dark-skinned child, where you're already going to have all these strikes against you, and then something that you cannot control, people are like demonizing you for it. Like I really feel so strongly about it. I just think it's so sad. And I think that we have the power to do something about it, but unfortunately we're still perpetuating it, even within our own communities. So yeah, I just think that just keeping the conversation. Like, I don't care. Like, if any, I'll be like, that's colorism. Like, sometimes like people will say that, not necessarily to me, but just conversations that I see. They're like, oh my God, you guys are reaching with this colorism thing. But it's like, you're actually not. Like, so many things are rooted in the hatred of Black skin. 100%. And obviously the darker, the more rife it is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I always think that people should do the extreme. I don't care, because we've had years of the opposite. So if people want to find that in every single little thing and call it out, I feel like that is part of the healing journey. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also it's historically rooted. Like I mentioned earlier, like the necessity to create a dichotomy between someone who's pure and white, and that being a byword for kind of virginity in some ways, like civilization, while dark skin being a byword for laziness and barbarism and all of those kinds of...
There's so much contradictions though, because like black skin is seen as laziness or whatever, but yet those people you put to work. There is like so much contradictions about it.
Like
and
Trump.
It's like, I think that's what I find really like, none of this is making sense. You're just say you hate them. Don't put labels that make no sense. Because if these were deemed as the lazy people, why are they the ones that you want to be farmers? Why are they the ones that you're like, we're going to get this person because they're going to be harder workers? Why are they the ones you're keeping outside? If they are the darker ones who I'm fascinated by history and human behavior. And I think a lot of us we complain about, it's the systems. It's human behavior.
Yeah.
There is no for pseudo system that runs. It's humans are behind the system.
Yeah.
Humans, when people are you got to play the game is humans playing the game. There is no game that's made up by non-humans. We are playing the game to benefit you. And I think as humans, you're going to figure out what your privilege is. Okay, I'm black, I'm a woman. Survival. But hey, I am a bit lighter. So for survival, you're going to be like, okay, let me lean in on this thing. Okay, I'm this and I'm this, but I am pretty. You see it with darker skinned women who have got very small, beautiful features, who then use it to their advantage because they're like, everything else is against me. So if I'm going to use this features to help me, let me use it. And so I'm always stuck between what does doing the work look like? And the question I want to ask you is that as a historian, you are saying the history, it's, 100, 300 years from now, and you are saying the history of now. What are you saying about black women that exists now? What is our story? Because I think these warriors, we've lost that.
Yeah.
Where of course people are doing the work, but majority of us are just trying to work the system.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we're just trying to survive. And I get it, we're tired, blah, 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 blah. But what does that say for our history? What are we just letting happen because we're just a bit tired?
I guess maybe it feels a bit unfair because we're also living under late stage capitalism.
Yes.
We are all being worked like mules.
To shit. 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs are not enough. What else? Yeah.
And we are tired, but also that doesn't mean that the work stops. So I guess what would I be saying about black women today?
Yeah, you're talking to someone in 400 years time. Who are our warriors? Who are our queens? What did we do?
Child, we don't have, I don't know if we have warriors and queens. I feel like we have entrepreneurs.
And girl bosses.
Oh my God. No, that cannot be our story.
I think that, if we're talking about the headlines, who do we glorify in our society, our society today, and they are the CEOs.
The women who have money. That's all we're glorifying.
That's what we're glorifying. That doesn't mean that that's what the community looks like, because I would love for the history to be about the women who create spaces for other black women. So we're talking about sister space, for example. I would love for that to be the headline, but it's not.
It's never
It's not going to be.
It's the woman who's making this from this product. It's that's all we are talking about. And
we are facing a different set of problems.
But as in, all the solutions are individualized now. We're not talking about the people who made a collective for this, people who fought this. We're talking about the person who, by herself, she managed to make 70 million.
But that's capitalism.
What else?
That's capitalism, because it has drilled into our heads that the state doesn't owe us anything, that we have to care for ourselves, that actually you need to desire having your own family, your own bubble, and then you take care of everyone within that bubble, rather than there being a kinship circle, that it's actually the onus is on you as one person to raise a child rather than a literal village raising a child. I had interviewees who for a lot of their childhood didn't actually know who their mother was, because they had been women. There were so many women who had raised them. So this is capitalism, and obviously it means that it's carried out to its logical end, where it's we all value individualism and being the person that gets ahead of everyone else and makes the most and actually cottons onto this new idea that you can sell and package to someone else. I guess for me, obviously because I'm queer, I would the spaces that have been built by black queer women and black queer trans folks in the UK have been pivotal for me. I'm thinking Babes London. I'm thinking of Systematic, which was a black lesbian sound system in the 80s and 90s, and they've brought it back and they're doing nights for black queer women, and it's just amazing. But beyond that, you know what? we're on our knees.
Yeah. Because I think even spaces that were created, initially they had great plans and then they started leading into how we're going to make some money.
Yeah.
And as in the core of why this started gets kind of forgotten.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think, because we throw the word community around so much, do you think it's truly like going back to the idea of kinship, like how you say it, and community and like leaning on each other and moving away from the individualistic mindsets that we have? Or do you think we're just using the word?
I think that the word gets used a lot.
Especially
a lot.
Yeah.
When actually you just mean like a group of people.
Yeah. Just your friendship group.
Like, that's okay. Just say that.
Yeah.
I think that in order to survive the rise of fascism, we're going to need each other. And I think that community exists and is being built in so many different spaces in different ways. But I think the resources to sustain those communities, it's very, very difficult. Like if you want some sort of shelter that people can come to and be comforted, or even like a third space, like we've lost so many of our third spaces that aren't like places to go out or drinking culture, but actually somewhere that you could just chill, bring a baby, there's a creche, like you can just be with your people. I think the fact that those spaces aren't easy to get hold of in terms of like the literal building, like paying rent and ensuring that, you know, you can take care of everyone within the community that you're trying to build. So I do think the word has lost a lot of the meaning, like what we were talking about in terms of an actual way of life.
Yeah.
But I think, again, this is what happens when things are co-opted and then sold back to us.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's ultimately what's happened.
Because even if you see things that, and I'm not knocking anybody's hustle in any way, so when people do like dinner nights and stuff like that, it's like, oh, what could be people having dinner talking? It's like, no, now you're going to pay for it. And then you're now going to come and then I'm going to do a social. Like everything that we knew to bring us together has now been sold to us because it's been taken away from us for so long. It's that example that I used a while ago where it's kind of like before when you need to move your house, you call your friends to come and help you. Now there's a moving company.
Yeah.
You need to call your friends. You don't need to call your friends to help you with shit. Like as long as you've got the money, you can actually do things outside of this. And also I think community has to have people you think are idiots in it.
Yeah.
Ideally, it's just people that think like me, that are right, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But no, some people who are idiots also need help. Like, you might think they're an idiot, but hey, they were part of it.
Listen.
Yeah, like,
we have to hold
but like,
too.
Fine. Fine. We gotta hit the fucking, like, it's, and even as women, this kind of like, okay, cool, we want to fight against, we want to talk about like femicide and things like that. We want to fight against these things. We have to include the pick-me's. And it's so hard to be like, fuck the girls, man. Like, fuck you, you're so fucking stupid. It's so easy to be like, you know what, I'm not helping you.
Yeah.
You're just so stupid. But they're kind of the ones that you need the most.
They need it the most.
Because they are
but getting over that is really
hard.
No. Please, I'm right there with you.
It's hard.
It is
because
hard.
there was recently, it was, I can't remember what his name was, but it was like someone in the police that was saying how, hey, we kind of need to take this crime against women thing very seriously. It was quite comical because I'm like, women have been saying this for years. And he was just like, press conference was kind of like, hey guys, it's actually bad.
It's actually
yeah. And he was saying like the number of women, the number of men who have openly admitted to being interested in children. Like as in, it was saying all of these stacks. And it's not just like, 1,000 men. We're talking hundreds of thousands
There was that
of men.
thing recently about the 62 million men.
Oh my
that
God,
database.
I was literally going to bring
what's
that
this?
up.
So basically there was like some group chat or some database, something where they found 62 million men. Because remember there was the other one that had, there was a group chat that had 70,000 men in there sharing tips. But this one's got 62 million men sharing tips on how they can rape their wives.
God.
Like drug rape their wives. 62 million men.
And that was in February 2026. So 2 months ago.
It's scary.
It's scary. It was called, I was reading about it on the way here, like the Online Rape Academy. And it's like this network of like websites and group chats where some of them are hosting videos of partners, wives being assaulted while potentially, you know, being under the influence or passed out, etc. And like sharing tips and, you know, live streams. Like it's horrific. So
it's darker than we think.
Honestly need each other more than ever. 2 months ago. And you would think that, you know, we're still even talking about Me Too. And
Yeah.
But everyone talks about it as if it's like a done deal. And like, okay, now that's the activism done for the rest of the century.
Yeah.
Keep it. No. This is an ongoing, continuing work because it's scary outside. And like, I'm saying this as someone who is in a relationship with a woman, is gay. Like, you lot that are dating men.
And the thing is, there's no way to tell. It's not like they've got something on there. 62 million.
Yeah.
The possibility of someone meeting one is actually very fucking likely.
Yeah.
If there is that much of them,
that
the
ratio is
possibility
insane.
that you're going to meet one is actually not like, oh no. And it's crazy because even I was talking to a friend the other day, we're talking about divorce rates, right? We're talking about marriage or whatever. And he was like, if someone told you there's a 50% chance every time you go outside, you're going to get run over, what would you not do? You wouldn't go outside.
Was this his argument for not getting married?
Yeah. So it was like, someone told you, if you don't want to get married, then like, fair. Because if someone's told you that if you are outside, there's 50% chance that you're going to get shot in your head, you'd be like, okay, I probably won't go outside as much. Let me actually sit my ass at home. So if there's this possibility of you might encounter one of 62 million men, you might be like, actually, I want to say the fuck away from these
the thing
people.
is, I think the messaging about relationships and what's been sold to us about fairy tales and stuff like that, I think it's greater than all of these things that we're hearing now. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, we hear these things, and also not everyone's receptive. Like, I realize more and more that because of like the spaces I'm in, the people I talk to, there are people that have got no idea about this stuff. There are people, and I'm speaking more specifically about women, that are like the Facebook mums or whatever, they have got no idea these things even exist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like I'm consumed with this information consistently, and I feel like being consumed means that in some regards you're armed with knowledge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so there's women that have got no idea, and then you've got to push back on all the messaging that we've been sold about your value being tied to being attached to a man and blah, blah, blah. So people will take their chances.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, well, you've just got to hope for the best. And that's scary, which is why I do love the idea about decentering men and that movement becoming more of a thing, because women are really scared. Like when I see these things, like when I saw that stat, I saw it on TikTok and I was looking at the comments, and there were so many people that were like, so many women that were like, I'm just not dating. I've opted out of relationships completely. Like I'm just doing me. I'm keep minding my business. Like it's too much of a risk.
Because there's that stats, and there's like, talk to 5 of your female friends, at least 3 of them will be like, I've been assaulted. Like as in, and like by partners, by like at least 3 of them will be like, I remember having when Me Too became publicized or whatever, having conversations with friends who'd be like, I don't know if I consented to that. Like, because for the longest time, especially I think women of our generation, we kind of was like, oh, it was just a tip. It was part of the, like, it's in whatever. Then you think about it, it's like, actually, wait.
I say all the time, by today's standards, I've been assaulted many times. By today's standards. At the time, I didn't recognize it as that because we didn't have the language.
We didn't have the language,
We weren't talking about these things openly, but coercion.
And in your mind, I did go to his house.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, I was there. Like, I knew he was going to stick it on me, but
he was just moving to me, but I still went. So you just kind of think it's, but I don't know. I think every day on the news there is a new woman who something's happened to her. I mean, recently there is the girl, is it Ashley?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen her
story
story.
about Ashley Robinson. Oh. So basically,
she's a social influencer.
Yeah, so she's an American influencer, beautiful girl, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful girl. And she was recently unalived. We don't actually know the circumstances of what happened. All we know is that she's beautiful 31-year-old girl. She's in this interracial relationship, which in this one, I don't actually think the race really matters that much. All we know is that she went on a holiday with her fiance. He proposed to her on the trip. So,
whilst on holiday, it was her birthday.
Yeah, it was also her birthday. But for the sake of the argument, let's just say fiance. And she just basically wound up dead. And the fiance, he's not been he's been called in for questioning now, but at the time they just let him go. He said that she hung herself and she killed herself. It was suicide, trigger warning suicide. And there's just very little information about this, like the circumstances of how she died, but it's very much giving like he was a part of it in some way, shape, or form.
Because the hotel staff said something about like the two had got into an argument.
Yeah, they were separated.
And the argument was so bad that they were separated and put into different rooms.
Next thing you know, she's dead.
And then next thing you know, she's dead. But it's happened in a space where he probably could get away with it. And there's like loads of rumors that like, is that why he took her to that part of the world? Was it in Tanzania?
Yeah, they're in Tanzania.
Yeah. Is that why he took her out that because that part of the world you can probably get away with it a bit more? Like, and there was just so many questions about it. And there's lots of lessons to be like, well, don't believe what people say on social media. And it's just, it's interesting the lessons people are taking from this. Because some lessons are like, well, someone could post today. And yeah, we know that. We know that not all posts are like happy posts. But I think it's really hard to believe someone who just got engaged, celebrating her birthday, is then gonna kill herself. It feels like, oh, that's a jump.
I don't know that. I like from what I've seen of the case. I'm not buying that she took
and
her
also
own
from
life.
every Dateline episode you've ever watched or listened to in your life, it's the partner.
No, they always.
I'm so sorry. It's the partner. Every single fucking time, it's the partner, and often they take them on a hike. Oh, and then she fell down.
Listen, we've all watched too much true crime.
I'm so sorry. I've seen too much of it to be like, oh, suddenly she fell down.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not buying that at all. But it's just really sad, and we're just hearing about these stories more and more and more. And I feel like with this relationship, there was so many different power dynamics at play. It was clearly an age gap relationship. He presented himself as someone wealthy. I don't know whether he actually is. Like people are coming out now saying he's a bit of a scammer. He's a crypto investor. I mean that's already. I mean that tells you everything you need to know. He was previously married to another young black woman. That relationship, like just loads of like weird things have been coming out about that situation. But I just think, and again, like you saying, like the cautionary tale of things, like there's people that feel vindicated because they have like biases about certain situations anyway. So, you know, all the fucking hoteps are like, well, you see, this is what you get when you date a white man, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, no, you guys are missing the point. Like, I'm not really concerned about what his
And also
race
the black
is.
skill loss too.
Exactly.
Like, please.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm not
please.
really concerned about his race here. I'm concerned about the fact that men are killing women at an astonishing rate. And for every black woman that's getting killed, a white woman is too. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's not all men, but it's always a man. Like that is just the takeaway. So can we actually focus and be guided? But it's very mad. It's mad.
I was going to ask you a question. Yes. So you reminded me when you said about being queer. So there are stories of queer women and queer people in these spaces, and history has shown us that like Africans have had queer people in them before being colonized. But I think a lot of times when people talk about gayness, it's always white people have taught you this thing, sort of thing like that. Is there a world, I'm just saying maybe your next book, of saying stories of just like, no, this exists. This is not a thing that was brought to the space by white people. Because I think a lot of like Africans criticize being queer as like, someone taught you this.
Yeah.
And
like,
like you watch something. Yeah, it was imported where it was like, that's not true.
At all. At all. So I try and like thread it throughout the book actually. So like in Njinga, I used like they, them pronouns earlier because in Njinga's language, which is Kimbundu of the Mbundu people found in like present day Angola, they don't have gendered pronouns. They don't even have the language for gender in the way that we do. So how does language change how you think about yourself and present and move through the world? So like they were Ngola, and that translates, it derives from Ngolo, which is like strength, whereas like it's translated as king or queen, but that's not actually what it means. And so like, I think there is something about languages, colonial tongues that impose gender and meaning where it didn't exist beforehand. And like Njinga had like a harem of like male concubines, would sometimes like would be dressing up in like military garb, but also flex on us with, you know, some fur, and had like a name that they wanted to be called when in military mode as well. So like we have this evidence of this particular ruler exhibiting like a gender plurality and probably using colonial like terms that felt like they gave respect. So like maybe accepting the term queen or donna when they were interacting with the Portuguese, because this has codes of respect rather than like, I actually want you to call me XYZ. But also in Njinga's realm, there were these women called Kiambandas who were assigned like male at birth, but they were recognized and understood as women. It was like the greatest honor to marry a Kiambanda. The head of the caste was called grandmother. They were seen as like spiritual arbiters, and like you would go to them to help diffuse matters, or if you wanted like some guidance, advice, whatever it was, they were who you would turn to. And if following like obviously Portugal's colonial exports of enslaved Africans to like the sugar plantations in Brazil, today you will find an Afro-Brazilian denomination called Kiambanda that like traveled with these enslaved Africans, and that's like 400 years later. So like you see like an existence of like queerness like in various pockets. Like you have sangomas, so like Zulu for healers. A number of them, we'd call them trans today. Like even these identities, they pre-exist the words that we're trying to use to describe them, but they can marry people of any gender. You had princesses in northern Sudan who were given girls to play, like explore sex and sexuality with. You have Basotho women who lived in like present day Lesotho who purposefully and continually would have long-standing relationships with other women, and that was just that was life. So because so much of this existed, and I think the gap is so great between what we have evidence of and what we're told today, and what took place in the middle for me was missionary work, a lot of missionary work of, like we've talked about earlier, like in the name of Christ or Christianity. And a lot of missionaries would bring their families over, and this would obviously be like some sort of nuclear family, and it was meant to be instructive, like this is what your family should look like. None of this collective kin stuff, none of these women together, none of these, you know, the woman is the one that's doing all of the, you know, labor at the marketplace, etc. And along with that came obviously like these types of relationships are not right. And because so many of the penal laws that we have across Africa, especially if they derived from their colonizers, so for Nigeria, Britain, you have all of these laws about sodomy that are still on Nigerian books, even though they're not on British books. They still affect and impact Nigerian lives as a legacy of colonization. With that, you're able to just revise history and be like, no, we never had this here. This is a recent kind of invention. But no, you had people who explored gender in a whole host of ways. There were the Ogujie, the all-women fighting regiment, that like historians, the way that they write about it, it's almost like it's unthinkable. So like in the Kingdom of Dahomey, you had this concept of duality. Like, for example, twins were like revered, and like whatever you did for one, you had to do for the other. So like in the palace, you had people that had matching jobs. So like you had someone who would do like an official doing this in the palace, you'd have someone outside doing the same thing. So you had sex workers, and there were sex workers outside the palace, and they'd be inside as well. But because the palace was so woman dominated, apart from the male ruler, because he didn't want men in his palace particularly, then it's like, it's just taken to the logical extreme. Like, who would use sex workers inside the palace? And so like things become fanciful. The idea that the Ogujie soldiers had relationships with each other or with sex workers, it becomes like, it's just taken to that extreme as they had to do to follow these cultural codes, rather than hey,
what if they wanted to? Unless she likes some veg.
So it also depends on like who is writing the histories and how. Because going back to Njinga, you had historians who'd be like, I'm seeing no mention of queen in Njinga, but I'm seeing king. And this again being another expression of like how Njing explored their gender, but then you have other historians who'll be like, no, it was just a costume and interpret it as such. And then
Something
they repeat
else.
that. So yeah, there is a lot of revisionism that takes place, but yeah, African like queerness and transness and like what we call it today has always existed in so many different cultures around the world in different forms, and being scared of it is not new. We're always scared of something. Like men were scared of women to the point where like I'm reading a book, Herlands, by Mega Mohan, and it's like a history of women-led movements, communes, civilizations, and you know, in the UK and in the US, like public bathrooms were only ever intended for men because they were expected to leave the house and do things. And
what happened to that?
Yeah,
do you know?
Hey, all you mean is get back to it.
Play the game.
What happened to that? Go to
I
work.
like that time.
God.
And there was this thing called like the urinary leash because women were seen as like having small bladders, just like you weren't meant to leave the house, you're meant to use the toilet at home. So there were no public bathrooms outside. Amazing, so if you have an errand or something to do, you go do that as quickly as you can. If you need to pee, you go back home and use your toilet. And like this fear of like women inhabiting public spaces with men, there's always been something to fear. And today we see that with like trans and genderqueer people. There has always, like, we're not original in the way that we fear.
It's been done before, honey. Yeah. Wait, so anyone listening to this, how do you get here? How do you become a historian? How what was
my memory don't be memory.
Firstly, how have you obtained all of that information?
Jesus, I'm so fascinated.
No, as in, I don't know information about myself. I'm like, I think I was 16,
Where was
17. I can't really remember, let alone remembering the kings and queens or whatever. But how did your career go from being a journalist? Like, how are we here now?
Good question. I ask myself this every day. I was a journalist and like a freelancer, and then I realized that I was kind of doing a contemporary history work anyway. And this was me, I'm saying realized. My friends told me. Jade Bentel, shout out to one of my best friends. She was like, no, this is the work that you're actually already doing. So for example, I was interviewing people who'd been at like the New Cross fire and them telling me their experiences of like getting out of that house, or people who'd lived under sus law, so like friends, fathers who were stopped like 3 times as an 8-year-old riding around their block.
Christ,
you know, like just a black kid on a bike stopped 3 times in a day. And like I was just doing these oral history sessions without realizing that that's actually what I was doing. So I went back to uni. I did my master's in Black British history.
Oh, did you? I didn't know this.
Yes, you did. You commented on...
I don't think I knew it was in Black British history. I know you did a master's.
Okay. No,
How
sorry.
much
Let me take
is
that
there
back.
enough to study?
I came so quick.
You just got me. No, I'm joking before all of you start shouting. Please.
So it was at Goldsmiths. Goldsmiths is a mess. Universities are messes right now.
Yeah.
And so it was like one of the courses that they were really pushing and really proud of. But when it's time to start axing things,
It was a mess.
it starts going quiet.
Goldsmiths was my first experience of university.
Yeah, that was I wanted to go there so badly.
When we were in year 9, they took 10 or year 9, they took a bunch of gifted and talented kids.
Come on.
And I was one of them. And we spent a week at Goldsmiths because they wanted to, because obviously we were from a poor area. So it was kids gifted and talented, but their parents didn't go to uni. But they wanted you to know that this is obtainable for you. So they took us to Goldsmiths for a week to see what university life would be like. We picked the subjects that we wanted to do. And honestly, I thought it was one of the best programs because it made me adamant that I was going to university. Yeah, and it was I don't think they do things like that anymore, but it was such a good, like a bunch of us who was like, kids, your parents don't know this, so there's no one to tell you about this thing, right? So here's this experience. And I think every single one of us on that trip went to university. Wow. Yeah, every single one of us that was on that trip went to university because it was just oh great, this is obtainable for us, we can do this. It was really fucking cool.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but give them credit for that.
Things like that.
Yeah, I don't think we are. I don't think there's programs like that anymore. I don't think there is.
We are down so
like it's
bad.
it's
They'll say
bad.
there's no money.
Yeah, they'll say there's no money, but I'm sure.
Money to just take kids to
exactly
open day.
And literally, it was a week. It was so cool. We all had our own dorms. Like we'd go downstairs to go eat. Yeah. Like it was proper, and like you had a timetable of when your lectures were. So we felt so grown up. We were like, oh my god, this is so
You're
cool.
big now.
Yeah. It was such a cool experience.
Goldsmiths. I did my master's there. It changed my life. My lecturer and supervisor for my dissertation, Christina Fryer. The way that we were talking about blackness and exploring blackness, whether like a history of sound or culture, Black Britishness, like what does that even mean? Just getting into the nitty-gritty, but also like the more technical parts of history work. Like how do you go to an archive? Like how do you request things? And how do you look through a catalogue? All of the things that I think are often like barriers to people feeling like they can access this space. It felt like it was opened to me within this way. And that was really it. Then got a book deal. That we're here, innit?
We're here.
But I'm so glad that there are so many different programs and spaces now that pertain to Black British history. Like obviously you've got the BCA, but you've got young historians workshops, and there are so many different collectives now that are doing a lot of work around how do we ensure that Black people, queer people, all kinds of racialized and marginalized communities know that this is something that they can do. Yeah. And like, this is why I always say like the history, it starts small. Like just start with people around you and just like, because there is an urgency to all of this.
Yeah.
There is such an urgency. And I think that's what underpins my work. Like people are going to die. And
like there was actually a time limit on things.
There is a time
limit on this. Like I've always wanted to do this, but I don't even know how to go about it. There is like live music in Nigeria is like, it's a proper thing. Like you have like bands that do weddings. So there's like Sonia Day, like just like a bunch of really people who have been around for a long time who do weddings. King Sonia Day. There is, I can't remember their name, all of their names now, but they are been around for a long time and they do weddings, they do live music and things like that. And I was like, we need to get their stories. Like there are stories here that we don't know about. Like how did live band become a thing? How did you become a thing? Like they play at people's weddings, they play at people's funerals. Like it's generational. Like they've been around for so long. I'm like, these people are gonna die.
Yeah.
And then we don't have their story.
Yeah. We're losing
recipes. Like we are losing them and we don't have their stories. And I think so often, African Americans have done a really good job of like speaking to their elders, even like all of their like, Quincy Jones died recently, right? Yeah. Like we know his history. There's been better interviews about him. But I feel like there's so many people that maybe equivalent or whatever, that we don't know what their story is. We haven't spoken to them. And I think because for the longest time, there's been the thing of respect. But it doesn't mean that it means storytelling doesn't get passed down. Because we feel like we can't talk to them. Because they're our elders, you know. But I was like, I think there is something in bridging that gap between our elders and actually speaking to them and like, yo, what's the story here? What happened? What are these experiences like? Tell us, because their stories die with them.
Yeah.
And on that note, I wanted to ask you, is there a story outside of the story you told me when we rolled that you want to tell about Black Britishness before it dies? Before it dies. Like the story that you've clocked out, like this story needs to be told.
I really want to work on an intimate history of Black lesbian life in this country. And like, so much of what I've accessed in terms of the scholarship is around like organising and political protests, creating like really, really, really important collectives. But I also want the tea.
Yeah.
I want the gossip. This is history too.
Yeah.
And thinking about like, how did you look after sick loved ones, for example, when your relationship is not recognized in any way, especially during like an AIDS crisis. How did Black lesbian mothers like navigate motherhood when the state would threaten you with taking your children into custody because you're a lesbian? Like I remember hearing this story about these two teachers who were in a relationship together, and they were lesbians, and they would do their shopping like on the other side of London because they were terrified that they would be spotted or something would come back to, you know, the school, and then they're suddenly seen as like not fit to teach because they're gay. I'm really fascinated by, for example, BDSM culture, because there was such a difficulty for lesbian communities, specifically Black lesbian communities, to really understand BDSM. And like, why would you want to be like whipped and wearing chains and all this stuff when this is so deeply traumatic and painful and so linked to our history? And then also if you're in an interracial relationship, that's a whole other thing. That's yours. That's yours, not mine. But like, there are so many little nuggets that I really want to explore alongside the important like rallying and organizing. But like, just how did you like find each other, find love? Like, I know that a lot of people were putting like personal ads in City Limits, which like came before Time Out.
Right, okay.
So like you had people, you know, trying to connect with each other through newsletters and message boards and dashboards. Like there are so many things that are happening, especially if you were, like I really want to focus on outside of London as well. Like I want to do some parts in London, but also in more isolated communities where getting a newsletter, the monthly news bulletin, that was your way of being connected to community. And then especially Black lesbian communities, because you were seeing a lot of lesbianism, but often it was very, very white. So like, I want to do that, like the language that would be used as well. This was basically my dissertation. So I want to take up a notch and then move it away from academic language that just is almost like set out to confuse and obfuscate stuff. Like I just want to
get to the detail.
Oh, the juice. This is selfish. A selfish endeavor.
I
is
hear
for me.
Because I really want to speak to our parents who came here. I think they have so many stories, like how, like, because you hear snippets of it, or be like, oh, we was at home once. I remember mum telling me the story that they was at home once chilling, and then someone told them that immigration was coming, and one of my uncles literally jumped out of 2-story building, like as in jumped, so immigrant, like so. And those examples are not new. Like there were people who be at hairdressers, and immigration will come and they will leg it, and like those stories and how they made it home, and how, like, just because a lot of them left their countries when they were like in their 20s, and they did things of like they came and then their partner came later, or when they came here, someone giving them a number to go call Auntie, and then they got here and then they're like, I don't even know where the fuck Auntie Susie lives. What if the number you're given, you called her and she didn't pick up? How do you start your? So many of them, that's what happened. They told them, oh, there's an auntie in Peckham. You get there, she'll help you. They got there was no auntie, and now you have to
figure it out.
So what the fuck did you do?
Yeah, because I'd be lost, boy. If you throw me in another country right now,
I can't go to the country right now with that city mapper.
I can't even get around this London.
I cannot, literally, if you said here, go to France right now and get here, I'm like, I need a map.
Yeah.
If there was no Uber, there was no, I don't know what I will be doing. And there was no Uber, there was no money. They came with maybe at most the £50 that they left Nigeria with.
£50 and a dream.
And the dream. And you were giving somebody's number. You're calling this auntie down, so he's not picking up. Yeah, so what the fuck are you meant to do?
Now what do you do if you've only got one 10p coin to use
and
the phone
also
box?
if you're leaving people behind and I'm coming back for you.
And the plan was that I'm coming back. Or the plan is even if you're not coming back, I'm sending money back.
Yeah.
Like, don't you worry. The dream is I'm going to get here and I'm going to send you money back. What the fuck?
Yeah, like how?
How? And there's certain of them that who didn't make it. And then I don't mean died. It never became, the dream was never actualized.
Yeah.
It never became a better life. Like after years and years, some of them still don't have their papers. Some of them have been kicked back home and they never actually made it. And there's some of them who became very successful. Yeah. Or even if they didn't, they became the parents of people who was fucking Skepta, Julia. It's like they became parents of people who are now like the coolest fucking black people in this country.
Yeah.
Which is just like, I need to talk to you, man.
Yeah,
like, how the fuck did you? Because I think our generation is weak as fuck. I could not.
I could never.
That resilience in me.
I'd start crying.
As soon as I got to England and this auntie was a bit like, oh my God, I'll go to police station.
Because
please take me back.
Because even some of them, because even the ones that would have got through and got through to an auntie, some of those aunties were not nice.
They're not nice to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And how do you just firm that?
Yes.
Like,
and they live in homes with 7 man deep and it's a 2-bedroom and they just have to
people
figure it out.
People have really worked, man. They really walked so that we can run.
And that's why I think so many of us have aunties that are not our actual related because that's the person that helped your mum when she first got here.
And you're gonna
and now that's your grandma. You realise that's actually not my mum's mum.
That's actually not.
It's not my mum.
That's also kinship in action.
Yeah.
That is also like a call back to
I've got Grandma Canning Town, Grandma America, Grandma here, because those are all the different women who helped my mum when she needed it, and those are your grandmas. And it's just it's crazy. I want to tell their stories. I think they're fascinating people
because they've lived, man.
They're definitely.
I want you to tell those stories.
Yeah, I can be so girl. Got so many things. But before we get there, dilemmas. These people's stories. Dilemmas.
You can help us.
Guys, you don't understand. I am a fan. I am first and foremost.
Do you know when you were talking? I was trying to think about the way to talk about the conversation we had. I think ages ago I'd asked about like. Sorry, because I've always wanted to know this answer. That was like, why did certain queer women choose to be more masculine thinking? And I was just like, and if you were going to be masc, why were you not dating a femme person? And I was like, I need to know the answer. And I think I asked you. I was just like, Paula, I'm sorry, this is problematic. But like, why is it that you are choosing to date women, but then decided to still fit into the stereotype of what a heterosexual relationship is? And you can answer that now if you want. Or not, it's up to you. But I've always struggled with it.
No, I hear you. I think like maybe it's detangling masculinity and femininity from like sex and gender. Because like sometimes it actually is just energy. Like these are clothings. Like it's clothing, it's a haircut. These are things that we have like brought together and said this means something and this can only be worn or shown on a man. And therefore what you're doing if you're with someone that doesn't look like this or does. So like I think if you start to detangle it as like this is an essence, like you might just want a daddy and that daddy comes in the package of like my little May, she a daddy. And she's like a little 5 foot.
And she's not costumed as a daddy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what she'd be given.
Yeah.
So like I think we've really wrapped up so much meaning in like woman, man, masculine and feminine without like allowing them to be free of the cultural expectations we put on that. That is very Western. Because you go elsewhere around the world, it's presented very differently again. But yeah, that's like my little shitty, little tiny answer to that.
All right, we're getting to some dilemmas, honeys. All right, we ready?
Let's go.
Okay, first one. Hi, I've listened to the podcast since 2018. I'll be sad to see you go, but it's amazing to see how far you've come. Wishing you both happiness, success in your future endeavours. In all my years listening, I never sent a dilemma, so I had to get one in before you go. Okay. Guys, don't cause yourself problems.
Manufacturing
We're here for a while, please.
Please.
This is so minor compared to most of the dilemmas you get, so hopefully it's a quick one. Should you say please to your partner every time you ask for something? My boyfriend was in the kitchen and I asked, could you put the kettle on? And he looked at me expectantly to say please. And in the past, he's even said, what do you say? Ill, she says. This time I was so tired after work and wasn't having it. I think it's patronising, it winds me up. I always say thank you when he does something I ask, but he says we should be polite and say please as well. This doesn't come naturally when I'm talking to him as we've been together for 10 years. This please thing is recent though, only been happening last year or so. What do you reckon? Is it normal to say please all the time? Have I been unknowingly rude? Or when you're in a long-term relationship, to do things just slide? Interested to hear your thoughts.
Do you know what?
Thank you if you read this and please be extra polite.
I think it just depends on tone. So first of all, like for me, manners in that sense are just now innate. Do you know what I mean?
Like, you know what I mean, please, man.
But sometimes you say things, and it's like your tone that it might be triggering him to say add the please. Because if I'm going to ask someone something and I don't say please, I'm going to say it in a different tone. So I might be like, babe, pass me the drink. Do you know what I mean? Being like, give me that. With no please and there's no like cushion. I understand why he's like, where's your manners?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it just depends on how you're saying it. If you're asking someone to do something for you, you probably should always just say please. I wouldn't overthink it. Just say the please.
Yeah, because, oh, babe, put the kettle on. It's different to put the kettle on.
Exactly.
Like, it's a tone thing.
You can have a please if you said, babe, put the kettle on. Whereas put the kettle on with no please, that just sounds rude.
Yeah.
So
it's a tone thing.
It's a tone.
But at the same time, like, you should be able to slip at home.
Yeah.
I think that can't be that strict.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, my teacher.
I can't lie, my man can't say, please. Who the fuck are you talking
about?
That is patronising.
I don't like that.
And is that, not to think too deeply, is that element of control about it?
It feels like there's a humbling tactic that's kind of attached to it a little bit. But also, sometimes like we miss blind spots when it comes to things we do. So maybe he started doing it because you've just started normalising not saying please and thank you. Do you know what I mean? So if it's become a thing that like suddenly, because you're so comfortable, all of a sudden that means your manners have slipped. Maybe that's why he feels the need to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because in your mind, yeah, you're comfortable, but to him, it's just like, no, you're asking me to do something. It doesn't matter how long we've been together.
Yeah.
Have some manners when you say something.
I think what I'm always big on is thank yous.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Like, I think because I think sometimes in relationships, people think, well, you're meant to do that. No, I'm like, no, still a thank you.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody does anything for me, I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Even if it's like something they're meant to do, okay, cool. But still, you did it. Like, any dinner date, thank you for that. Yeah. Like,
I'm very much
thank you. Really appreciate it. You buy me stickers, thank you. I really appreciate that. And because I think I like hearing thank yous.
It's nice to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
No, I will wait.
Like, okay, I did it but I'm also, I don't have to.
Yeah, I didn't have to do that shit.
Yeah,
thank me.
But I think the element here is grace. Like, can this person give you grace for the few times that you're maybe going to slip and not say please or thank you? If that person can't give you grace, then what about the bigger things that happen in life that are bigger than please and thank you? Will you get grace there?
That's a good point. Yeah,
because obviously Anaya's talking now, so she's learning to say please and thank you, and now she just overdoes it. So I'll be like, Anaya, she'll be like, yes, please.
Like a true onion.
Like, literally, she's like, please, yes, no, thank you, please. Like, she's literally like, literally goes, thank you, please. Like, she just adds please onto everything. And now I'm just like, do you know what? I can't be bothered to read what I will do that later as you get older. But it's funny.
It is a thing you say to children. What's the magic word?
Yeah.
I
do say that. I'm like, would you say it? She's like, she goes, 10 to you. Okay, cool. Next dilemma. Okay, it says in capitals. I moved in with an influencer and now I feel like I'm in a competition I didn't enter.
Oh, God.
Hi, Audrey and Tolly, a loyal listener over here who's cheered for every new chapter for you both. I'll still be cheering you when you step away and warming my hands, ready to clap for your next host.
Thank you.
Love you girls so much and thank you for paving the way for women who want it all. Oh, that's lovely. I need your advice because I feel I've accidentally stepped into a completely different world and I don't know how to navigate it. I recently moved into a shared house where I'm renting a room from my flatmate, the landlord, who is a pretty successful influencer. Ooh, who is it?
Who is it?
For context, I'm a pretty normal girl, meaning I work a 9 to 5, love after work socials, theatre shows, trying new activities, seeing my friends, cooking at home with some R&B in the back, just genuinely enjoying the little life I've built for myself with Tracy Ellis Ross's words in the back of my mind. I was raised by a team of women and I'm confident, independent and proud of the life I've created. Well, at least I think I am.
Do you know what? When we get new people, they have to be able to read unlike us.
I know, please. We shouldn't put that in the criteria.
We should put, can
please
you
be
read?
able to read out loud. Because
Tracy Ellis Ross
my
5
God.
times.
We've been struggling for years. And you guys have had it because you love us. But the new people have to be.
When we had to start doing that,
I
was like, oh my God. I miss the days when Phoebe just used to do
Why
it.
can we never read?
I can...
Oh, do you edit it out? Oh shit, you don't know we can't read.
So never mind. Banter.
Leave this bit in, but please be able to read. Right now we can read. No mistakes they've ever made.
Since moving in, I've realised my flatmate and I live completely different realities. She often makes comments about how 9 to 5 life is being a slave to corporate.
Okay, bitch.
Exactly. Which doesn't sit right with me because I'm actually really proud of my career, my promotions and lifestyle. I understand that many people are earning lots on social media, which is incredible and should be celebrated. But I also think it's okay if it's not what I'd like. She constantly talks about money, how much she has in the hundreds of thousands, how rich she is, or even when she's struggling waiting for brand payments, which feels really tone deaf considering I'm paying her rent and saving little by little each month to buy my own place one day, as she knows.
If she's that rich, she wouldn't need a flatmate.
Yeah,
I promise
you clocked that tea.
If she's making the money she says she's making, she's not getting a flatmate. But let's go.
Delusion.
Come on, be for real.
There's also a strong focus on appearance and content. She's already very slim, but is actively trying to lose more weight because of trends and keeping up engagement. And it's honestly uncomfortable to be around. When I cook, she watches me because she's hungry.
What's that?
Yeah. When I cook, she watches me and makes comments about wishing she could eat like me.
That's not funny.
Yeah, which is starting to make me feel self-conscious. Like perhaps I need to cut down too.
No.
Yeah, no, that's cheeky. I just deeped it.
Yeah.
I just deeped it.
Like, I wish I was confident like you.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
What are you saying?
Yeah, exactly. This isn't really how I was raised. My Caribbean mother would kill me if I told her I wanted to diet. And I've spent a long time loving my body in this cruel society. So I'm a bit sad that so easily I'm now having these thoughts. She's surrounded by people who hype her up, who are also in her field, and I feel like she expects the same from me. She tells me about all the gifted items, free clothes, trips, etc., and she wants me to be cheering and excited about it. I respect her hustle and love seeing women succeed, but I didn't sign up to be a part of anyone's posse. I just wanted a place to live. I'm really not that gassed by these things, and I don't think she understands. Another thing that's really been getting to me is how she behaves when her friends come over. I'm naturally quite friendly and easy to get on with, so her friends tend to warm to me quickly. But in those moments, I've noticed a shift in her behaviour. She'll start talking down to me, asking me to do things for her in front of them unnecessarily, almost like my hands are there to serve her, and making comments like, I'll make her leave if you guys keep leaving me out of the conversation.
What?
It honestly makes me feel quite small and a bit sad because it feels like she's using the fact that she's my landlord to assert some kind of control when the attention isn't on her for a moment. It just doesn't sit right with me, and now I stay away. The hardest part is that it's starting to affect me. I've noticed myself becoming more critical of my body, my lifestyle, my income. Honestly, things I've never doubted before. It honestly feels like I'm living inside an Instagram For You page, and I don't feel grounded anymore. She sometimes says she wishes she had the ease of my life, my routine, my hobbies, but it often feels so backhanded. The assumption my life is easy, I think, says it all really. My dilemma is, what the hell do I do? I have the option to leave, but I don't know if maybe I just need to adjust. Do you think perhaps I'm being too sensitive, or is this environment genuinely unhealthy?
I want to know who it is so badly.
Same, Wes.
I want to know, how good is the property that you're putting up with all of this?
I would leave.
100%.
Absolutely leave.
Life is short.
And also, like, if I'm living with an influencer, I want the perks. I want you to take me on your trips. When you get free things that you don't want, because that's what happens. When you're friends with influencers, you're like, oh, I don't want this, you want it. That should be what's going on here. I should be living La Vida Loca. You've got a press event, your friends can't make it, you take me. Because we live together, we'll come home together, it's going to be lit. You're not even having those privileges. You're having all of the shit things. Someone makes you feel fat. Someone says you're eating too much. Someone says you're poor. Who are you talking to?
She's absolutely just like projecting her stuff onto her.
Yeah.
And she feels like because they're in such different worlds, she feels superior, and she's not even hiding it. She's letting it be known. You can't tell me your friends come over and you're telling me like saying things like, I'll make her leave. Who the fuck are you?
Who are you? Do you know I pay rent?
And I get like...
It's not free. You're not doing me a favour.
Like, and I'm doing you a favour because I'm obviously helping you out with this house in whatever shape or form, yeah. But I do think there's like a certain level of delusion and stuff like that comes like with being around influencers all the time.
They're mad.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they can be very mad, like the sense of reality sometimes, because you're just in a world where people are always hyping you up, telling you you're so amazing. Like, you get paid to essentially like be yourself. So there's a level of delusion.
Sometimes the worst people to be social with because they're not off their phone.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Everything's a moment for
Get
content.
off the fucking phone. Even if they're not filming, they're always just. It's just like, sis.
Yeah. Let's talk.
And also sometimes the issues don't translate. It's like, I can't believe these people asked me to post one post for 10k, man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Buddy,
I can't relate.
Pass me your phone right now.
Who the fuck are you talking? Like I said, what are you talking about? And I understand that your reality is your reality, but then to be saying, oh, I could never. I hate that kind of thing. When someone sees how you're living, it's like, oh, I could never. Like,
the lack of self-awareness is insane.
Like, okay, oh, I could never be in the 9 to 5. Oh, that feels like, this is someone's actual reality. Who are you talking to? And from when you're saying it makes you feel shit about your body, you're questioning things you never questioned in your life. Yeah, you need to get out of that situation.
100%. There's such a level of delusion as an influencer, but also as a landlord. I think landlords are deluded about income, money, what that means. So then I think to have those both together and also living with the landlord, that place is never actually going to feel like your own.
Even if she wasn't influenced, living with your landlord must be crazy.
No, I lived with a landlord before. So basically, when Nick and I were separated, I was going from place to place. I didn't know where my final stop was going to be. So I was like living in this house share in Clapham. Yeah. Oh my God, the landlord lived there. And it was mad. So it was actually a nice environment. So it was a beautiful house, like beautiful, freshly renovated. It was banging. No one had lived there before, had an ensuite. It was actually a very nice house. And I lived with like 4 other girls and we were all young. It was cool. But the landlord lived there. And oh my God, he was so jarring. He used to turn the Wi-Fi off at night.
Stop
Yeah,
it.
he used to turn the Wi-Fi. So at night, I'd just be like, why am I seeing 5G into the bars? Like, where's my bars? I'd be like, where's my bars at? Like, and we realised like he would turning off the Wi-Fi at night. He used to
Aren't you
help
also
him.
paying for the Wi-Fi?
Literally, it's all included, at least so I felt. And he also used to like help himself to our food. Do you remember that time he ate my pasta and I was like fucking Ross from Friends? I was like, my pasta? My pasta? I was so mad. Because you know when you're proper looking forward to something, it was not the one. Like slowly but surely everyone left that place.
No, because you can't live with the landlord. Living with the landlord is crazy.
And he was so precious about the house. And so you're not letting
course.
people enjoy it because you're like, oh, could you use a coaster? Oh, could you make sure you wipe that? Oh, and sending group messages all the time about oh my God, it was so annoying. Yeah, it was weird. And do you know what was so mad? I was like the first person to move in there. So the first night it was just me and him alone in the house.
God.
And I was
No,
like,
you wanted out, boy. Yes, that is brave.
I was like,
I am not living
lying there in my bed thinking,
in his
no.
house.
And thank God I
He's
didn't know.
phoned this man.
Like, I literally was lying in my bed like, he could just come up here and kill me.
Bruv.
Was he like an old man? Or?
No, he was kind of like, I feel like he was young, but he looked older.
Right, okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he was like, no, that was a time. What a time. But yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. That's a red flag.
I would move out.
Yeah,
I would
she's
move
gotta
out.
go.
And also,
It's
sorry,
not
you don't
worth
get
it.
to take my money monthly and tell me how rich you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You figure it out.
Yeah, that's mad.
There's a reason why you have a flatmate. Like you're trying to like lessen your expenses or whatever. You do not get to tell me how rich you are.
Yep.
And I'm the one paying you monthly.
Yeah.
And in your eyes, I'm struggling in 9 to 5.
Exactly.
Yet you're taking my full money
Exactly.
every single month.
I'm able to pay my rent. Thank you.
And also your home is where you're meant to be able to retreat to from the world.
Yeah.
So like if this is also a hostile space, babe.
Women are really good at saying things that are not compliments. In the really
it's okay, innit?
it's such a little comments. Oh, I wish I could eat like you.
Bitch, you can. Like, what's stopping you?
That's not a wish. That's not a fucking Make-A-Wish foundation.
Yeah, no,
you can
it's
just
not.
fucking
Because
eat.
you actually could.
Like,
That's the thing.
What are you
actually
on
could.
about?
Yeah. That's how you know it's shady, because you actually could just eat.
You could just
Yeah,
eat.
so it's laced.
You
with
could
shade.
ask me for some.
One time, I think I had like a few spots, and I was just like, some girl goes, "Oh, what did she say?" She was like, "You're so confident. I could never come into these spots."
Oh my God, people are mad.
The humane thing to do would pretend
Just not acknowledge it, you know? That's very much an option.
I had someone tell me about my forehead. She was like, "Oh, if I had a forehead, I wouldn't like put my hair in a bun." Like,
It's mad.
Why
And
do people say so much wild shit?
And they
and
truly think
and I
that's a
think,
compliment.
I think people say it to you when they think you like they need to bash you down a couple. Or maybe you didn't clock this, but you've got a
Yeah,
spot
I'm
in your
gonna
face.
tell you,
by the
but I'm
way.
gonna frame it in
In
this
case
way.
you're like,
Yeah.
girl, I'm looking at myself. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't like them little. And people always like, why is that? Because you're so confident. Oh my God, I wish I was confident like you. It's not a compliment, man.
No,
sometimes.
that's shade.
No,
There was a
Yeah.
shade in that thing. There was you say it
100%.
to when bigger women wear crop top. What does that mean?
Yeah, I wish I had that. I wish I was brave.
Yeah, what's brave about they
Yeah.
came on the internet. What's brave?
Yeah. I'm literally wearing a piece of clothing.
What is brave about what I'm wearing,
All
what I'm
you're
doing right now?
is saying and summing up that you see me as deviant,
Exactly,
other,
yeah.
compared to yourself
Yeah.
as some sort of normalizing
Right,
standard.
exactly.
If you have the option to move out, I would absolutely.
I think she has. I think you gotta
Please,
go, girl.
please,
Like, I would.
prioritize it.
Right, next dilemma. Hi, Audrey and Tolly. As tradition, I must first say how instrumental the both of you have been in my life. From the moment I first listened to the podcast, a freshman year of college in 2022, I'm not sure how I found you guys, but there is one thing about Spotify has done right. It's to bring your voices into my life. Audrey, your jokes and how unapologetic you are in embracing your inner child, while most of us rather be straight-edged. It's something I always...
way of saying immature. But I'll take
One of them,
it.
one of them compliments. While others are taking life seriously, you're joking. It's something I've always loved about you, and I tried to mirror. Tolly, your I am her vibe is something that one can see from a mile away, and you really are her to me. Oh, thank you. To me, everybody. We're joking, by the way.
We're joking.
For context, my mum and dad have been divorced since 2013 due to my dad's cheating, physical and verbal abuse. I'm not sure exactly when, but around 2018/2019, he got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. When I tell you, from that moment, he did everything to make wrongs right. I mean, he did everything to the point where sometimes I forget how shit my life was and my mum's life was, especially due to his abuse. Fast forward to now, March 31st was my dad's birthday. That day I called to try and reach out to him because there's always someone sitting with him in the hospice now. No answer. So I sent a text on his phone, happy birthday, because at least I can say I tried. Anyways, nighttime comes, I call again and his cousin finally picks up. She gave it to my mum, who also happened to be there at the hospital. I asked my mum to turn on video call on WhatsApp so that I could see him and tell him happy birthday. She refused and hung up. He died the next day. April 1st. She refused to let me see my dad on his birthday. She refused to let me see my dad on his last full day on earth. They probably didn't even relay the stupid happy birthday message I sent him. Also, about 4 to 5 days before he died, I told my mother to ask my dad if I should contact my sister, a sister who I never met and who my dad never spoke to when we moved to America from Germany. I don't know the details of why. He squeezed my mother's hand to indicate yes. To make sure it wasn't a fluke, I told my mother to ask him if he could squeeze his hand if 1 + 1 was 4. He didn't squeeze. So yes, he was coherent. Just his body in the end was not compliant. The same day I contacted my sister and she said never to contact her again. With all these things being said, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. And the rare occasion that I do, I'm afraid to verbalize it to anyone that I know. I'm not close to anyone in my family. They see me as emotionless, stoic one. It's not by choice, but because of the following moments that happened back to back. Age 11, I cried in front of my class because an essay I wrote was too long and my favourite teacher ripped into me. Age 11, my mum yelled at me and I cried in the bathroom. When she saw red eyes, the look of pure disgust she gave me is something I never forget. At age 11, I was crying in my room. One of my siblings walked in, saw me and just started laughing, asking, why are you crying? The day after my dad died, I went to university counselling services and they told me to reach out to a friend. Because I'm so close off, there's only one person I feel I could go to. Let's call him Dan. He dropped everything to hang out with me that same day and we just talked until nearly midnight just to get it off my mind, the fact that my dad died. One thing Dan kept reiterating was that he's happy that I reached out, to keep reaching out if I need him. However, Dan has a girlfriend now, 3 months, but before they got together, everyone thought he and I were a thing. We were so close, people just assumed we were dating. Because of that history, I don't know it to be like I'm overstepping or his girlfriend's feeling some kind of way. I'm terrified of being a burden, even though he said to keep reaching out. Whether this is a dilemma or a rant because I have no one to talk to, I don't know. But how do I get over not getting to say goodbye to my dad? And how do I allow myself to be vulnerable with people who are actually allowing me space? Any words from a sane mind and mine will be great. Please do your show in Atlanta before you go behind the camera. I would love to do a show in Atlanta or America, by the way. Yeah. Yes. Thoughts, girls, grief.
Do you know what it is? I think she may be hyperfixating on the bye. I think what's more important is that she was at peace. The relationship with her dad was at peace before he went. I think personally that's more important. Of course, a goodbye would have been so special when it's what you wanted, but you could have had the opposite. You could have said a bye and the relationship could have still been fractured towards the end. So I think you need to hold on to the fact that no matter what, you and your dad were good.
Yeah.
Before he went. I feel like I would take peace from that.
Yeah. I think there is something that feels very like filmic about, do you know when someone dies, the first thing people think is what was the last thing I said to them? I think it's our human brain trying to be okay, trying to be like, oh, we said the best thing. Oh, we left it on good terms. And often life doesn't afford us that privilege. Rarely does someone die and the last thing you said to them was profound. Most times it's like, oh, your last thing you said to them was
take
like,
the meat out.
Yeah, like exactly. What time you getting here? Like it's always mundane, everyday things because although we know that life and death can happen at any time, I don't think we can afford to live like that.
Yeah.
I think to live like someone can die at any moment is a lot of pressure. Like I understand live your life to the fullest, but to live like I could die now is, or anybody around you could die. I think it makes you too aware of death and grief and making everything beautiful. And I think that's just a lot of pressure on people. So I understand this need to be like, I just wanted to speak to my dad. Like, especially because it was his birthday, the likelihood is you would have said something lovely. You would have said, I love you. Then it would have been a perfect way to grieve. Compact, perfect. Last time I spoke to him was his birthday. I told him I loved him. He knew I loved him. Fixed our relationship. Fine. I can now get over his death. You would still be hurting.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It would not have made a difference to how it is you're feeling and the grief you're feeling and how grief is going to show up. It is still going to affect you. Yes, it would have been ideal. And it's not fair, but sometimes people do things that they think is best for you. Maybe your dad was not in a place where you should have seen him. And your mum was doing it as a way to protect you, to be like, you don't get, like, I don't want you to have this image of the last time you saw him, this is what he looked like. And again, that might not be the right thing to do, but I can understand why someone thinks that's the right thing to do. Someone is worse for wear. They don't want that to be the image of them, you remind them. Because as well as thinking about the last thing you say, you do think about the last time you saw them. Because you hear it, oh my God, I just saw him. But we just saw you because I think our human brain just has to make us be like, I don't get it, but we just spoke sort of thing. So I think you are somewhat punishing yourself to keep reminding yourself that you didn't get to have this last beautiful conversation with him. I think you got to happy birthday. You did what you thought was right. You tried. And like Audrey said, you got to live the last years of his life, him as a better person. Because the memories could have been the awful abuse that you all faced and how awful it was. And I'm not saying that negates that still happened, but at least he got his redemption arc before he went. And you feel better about your relationship together. And I think that's what's important. I have absolutely no advice on dealing with grief because I don't think there is advice on dealing with grief. I think it knocks you, it shakes you in ways that is so individual. I don't think anybody can tell you what the fuck to do with it.
At all. Like, I am grieving. We recently lost a brilliant pillar of the community, Danielle Scott Horton, who's also my friend. And so like this resonates really, really hard. And like, I think it's so important to, first and foremost, just acknowledge that you are grieving. Like you have no emotional footing right now. Like one day you're like able to just function, the other day, like you said, it just knocks you for six. And I think like one, giving yourself grace there, but two, thinking about how we also seek distraction. We're trying to break from reality because right now this reality is facing life without this person, whether or not they were sick or, you know, it was abrupt, like they are not here. And now there is a whole new reality that you have to encounter. And you think of the what ifs, what if, you know, I could have had you at this thing that I think about how Danny won't be at our wedding, you know, like there are so many things that I would have loved to have happened and that is new now. And yeah, we seek distraction, and I think maybe like focusing on your friend's girlfriend, like that is maybe a distraction.
Yeah, you didn't think about that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter that people thought you was a thing. That doesn't fucking matter. I mean, that has got nothing to do with nothing right now. Yeah.
But like sometimes these things, it makes you feel a bit normal for a second to just think about nonsensical, like, oh, will people think I have a crush or we're in a thing? Like, but I think really, really hold on to your relationship with your dad, and the fact that you were able to reconcile and bring things to a place of closure that feel good for you, even though not everything is perfect. And like, especially when it feels like the passing is suddenly abrupt, because yes, the dad was unwell, but it feels like he just went immediately. We're never gonna get those perfect goodbyes. There are so many things that become so much more poignant in passing, and you have to remember that like you just assume that you're going to see that person again. You just assume that you're going to get to say the next thing, and sometimes it is just wishing that you could tell them how much you love them and that they've taken that into, you know, their transition. So I think just first and foremost, grace. Like you are surviving at the minute and allowing yourself that space right now. Yeah.
And also the I love yous is for you. They don't know, they've gone. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I just want to make sure that they knew I love them. They like, the entity is not there for them to know anything anymore. Like they're gone. So it's, and I get it. It's a thing for you to make yourself feel better. And again, grief just does that. You start thinking of, when was the last time? Did we hug? When? How did this end? Whatever. And like, I saw a thing recently that was like, don't treat me like you have the opportunity to love me tomorrow, because what if I'm not here for you to love? Like, as in like, do the fucking thing now. Like, as in like, do it. Oh, she knows. Or what if there's, I think I'm a big thing. If anybody that I think might be in doubt, and not because I think they're going to die tomorrow, but like for me to be like, actually, no, it means a lot for me for that person to know how I feel about them. And you see a lot when someone goes. And we saw it a lot when Danny went. A lot of people like reaching out to be like, hey, sorry, I think you're great. Because you realise that like, shit, this person doesn't know. Because there's like, unless it's their birthday or whatever. And I remember someone saying to me years and years ago that it's not right that people's funerals are the biggest party they have. That's when their friend from secondary school, from college, all of that. I should have saw these people. Like, as in, I don't know you lot are there. Like, these things should And we know it. Every time someone dies, we all know it. We're like, oh shit, man, we have to treat people die. And then life, and then you forget it, and then you just carry on as normal. Yeah.
Life.
Yeah.
Like you're also living.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things that we're not going to get right.
Yeah.
And allowing just that kind of human experience.
Yeah.
You cannot go to every single person in your life every day to let them know, I'm thinking of you.
Exactly.
I love
Not
you.
practical. Yeah.
It's not realistic.
It's not
It's not. And these are the kind of superhuman expectations we put on ourselves in grief, because like, I feel like I've let you down. Like there is so much room without that person being there to counteract it. Like there is so much room to blame yourself. Like you have to at least stand 10 toes down in, I know that I loved you, you loved me, and like that is what we had. And affirm it for yourself on both parts, because the other person can't affirm it for you.
For you, yeah, that's such a good point.
Yeah,
because you can't. The person can't be like, no, I know you love me, of course, because they're not. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's hard. But this whole Dan's girlfriend, that's got nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
if a friend said they can be there, like as in,
just
take Dan's
all the
help
love,
for like that you can. Don't worry about like, oh, people think we're together. You're not overstepping, and like.
Yeah,
and if he's willing to give you the help, he's willing to give you the help.
Exactly.
And that's all that.
You've got to take the love where you can get
I do not underestimate how much you need people in this season.
Yeah.
There is nothing. If there's any way to deal with grief, I will say, don't try to do this by yourself.
No,
you need people. Either people that are in it, people who are not in it, people that just get to. Because I remember a lot of people like, I just didn't know what to do. Sometimes I didn't need you to do anything.
Just bear witness.
Just just sit here. Or just live with. I don't need you to come and make me laugh. I don't know. Like you don't want to be around that kind of because you're like, I don't know what to say to make them feel better. Sometimes just sit
presence.
there. Yeah. And nothing is said. You guys are just sitting there, just looking at each other.
Literally, like one of my friends was just like, I'm going to take you for a day out, and took me and May to Box Hill, and we just did like one big walk, and didn't really talk about anything. And that was really nice just to like break the routine a little bit. And like, I think that is the hardest thing that I'm finding. Like people don't know what to say to you. And then I'm conscious of them not knowing what to say to me. And that now becomes something that I'm carrying alongside how I'm already feeling, because I don't want to bring the vibe down or the energy down.
It's just horrible as well. It's like, I know it sounds dumb because death really goes according to the pecking order, but go according to the fucking pecking order. Take the old people. Like,
work our way down.
Trying to be funny. Like, go according to age, for fuck's sake.
No, I hear it.
When people are like, when someone in the 90s died, oh, should have been them. Who the fuck else should it have been? The Queen should have died. I know that sounds crazy. She is in her late 80s, 90s.
Babe, that's a long life.
That's who should be going. And like, it's that pain of like losing your age, losing your friends. It fucking spins me because I'm like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, there are so many wrong-uns still on this planet. Are you
like,
right?
What?
The wrong-uns that are on this planet. Anyway.
Right, next and last.
Next and last, okay. Hey girls.
Hello.
Firstly, I just want to give you your flowers. I've been a hardcore listener for the past 3 years, and your podcast has genuinely helped me in so many ways. Tolly, you are a fantastic woman who always speaks your mind no matter what. You're such a bad beat.
Thank you.
Audrey, you're a wonderful person who is always making me laugh, my Ghanaian sister. Your podcast has helped so many of us Black people grow. So please keep doing what you're doing. I really need your advice because I feel so stuck and I don't know what the right thing to do is. So I've grown up in a Christian Ghanaian household my whole life, and my family is quite strict about it. But recently I've been feeling really out of touch with religion. Like it just doesn't feel like something that's for me personally anymore. I still respect it and I don't have anything against it. I just don't feel connected to it. The issue is that my parents and my older sister are very serious about it and are starting to push it on me more. Like she keeps calling me a pagan if I don't know a random Bible fact or the fact that I forget to pray before bedtime. She has also advocated that after my exams this summer, they want me to go to church 3 times a week, which feels like a lot, especially when I'm already struggling with how I feel about it. Another layer to this is that I'm also a lesbian.
I'm sorry, this is so fit.
Oh my God.
Paula's here.
Come on.
You are going to get the best advice today.
Exactly. I might not even say a
Oh my
word.
God, wow.
And I'm still in the closet at home. So that makes everything even more complicated. I feel like I can't fully be myself and it makes the pressure around religion feel even heavier. I don't know whether I should just go along to keep the peace or if I should stand my ground. And if I do stand my ground, I don't know how much I should actually say. Like, do I open up about everything or keep parts of it to myself for now? Thank you. Sorry that it is long, but any help is appreciated.
Paula?
No, not you swimming.
Paula?
As our resident gay.
As our resident gay.
This is a personal decision. Like, first of all, I think you have to think about your safety and security in this moment. So, like, unfortunately, sometimes it comes down to the practicalities. If you need to get out of this household and move away, is that something that you can do? Because, like, sometimes that is often a barrier for, like, queer and trans folks. Like, I cannot afford to move out, so that is why I'm putting up with this. Like, I know so many people who really struggled during lockdown, and, like, you cannot underestimate the impact of being in this space and having your sexuality or gender feel like it's being, like, devalued or undermined if you're being dead named, for example. Like, so I think first and foremost, thinking about, like, what resources you have right now, making a decision, like, is this something that I can do right this second if I need to leave, if I need to get out? If not, then creating a bit of a plan. And I think that personally, I always think that getting out and finding community, as we've talked about, like finding people that just reflect that queerness back to you in whatever form. Like, did they say whether they're black or...
Yeah, Black Ghanaian.
Black Ghanaian. Okay, so listen, the queer Africans in this London, yeah? Teeming. So also, like, I think connecting with other people to, like, affirm you. And there are so many black, queer, religious people that I know of as well. So if you need to find a specific community, so there is, like, this really big queer church that's in central London. Like, maybe being around other Christian queer folks could shake something loose for you. And maybe it's about Christianity itself. Maybe it's about the way that Christianity has been forced upon you, or the way that your queerness is being spoken about alongside that Christianity. I think maybe trying to detangle that a little bit and figure out, like, is it the oppressiveness of this familial environment, or is it the faith, the doctrine and the faith itself?
It would, for you, did you find, was that difficult for you, being raised in a Christian household and then being like, I'm queer? Like, when you were like, just, I don't know if you quote unquote discovered your queerness, did it really affect how you saw religion and how you saw Christianity?
So I would say that I kind of left Christianity around like 15, 16 to go do my homework. And then queerness for me was at uni. I was doing the thing where, like, I was just getting drunk and, like, going out. And then when I was drunk, I'd be like, listen, love is love. Like,
love wins.
You know what I mean? I'm in the grey, you know. And then kind of started exploring my queerness. And then, so, like, that kind of happened in a different order. But I still feel the impact of queerness and Christianity. Like, when my partner and I got engaged like 5 years ago, my mum reacted, like, really badly, and we haven't really spoken since.
But she knew you were queer, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Did she think it would just fade away?
I don't really know what she was thinking, to be honest, because she really got on with my partner, and, like, we spent, like, Christmases together and stuff. So, like, me and my brothers, we thought this was, like, cool. So this was actually, like, very kind of jarring for me. And I think maybe my brothers were kind of taken aback as well. And this was very much because of her kind of Christian values. So these ruptures, they will come when they come, and they might be devastating anyway. Like, I don't know if you can necessarily put off how painful this could be when you do kind of confront it, because if your parents are and your family are set in a particular way, like, this is going to devastate you at some point anyway. And I wonder if it would be better to be surrounded by queer Africans who can affirm you, who understand very intimately the pain of being rejected for, like, some sort of under religious kind of doctrine, or, like, that's the kind of the excuse that is given for just not seeing you as your whole full self. Because like, yeah, that's the bit that had spun me around my mum, because I was like, I'm still your daughter.
Yeah.
I'm still the daughter that you're proud of, who has done all of these things. Like, I'm just, I'm just gay.
Yeah.
I'm just like in relationships with women. Like, that is it. Like, I'm still excellent. Like, I've done so much for you to be proud of.
You guys are really close.
I would say fairly close. Yeah. Like, I'm not like, I feel like, for example, your relationship with your mum, I feel like you're very, very close. I would say that we were close enough that I was completely like, I fell into like a depression for a good 3 months. Like, one of them ones.
Absolutely.
You just wake up in the morning and you start crying.
Like, I feel like people who have parents, like, for example, my mother, who are deeply devoted to marriage. Like, as in deeply devoted to married, have kids, blah, 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 feel a sense of depression about it every single day, because you are, until this thing happens, you are so aware that your mother sees you as not good enough. And that is heartbreaking for someone. Like, there is nothing, like, there is no doubt about it. I'm close to my mum. I love my mum. I don't even think I really try when I speak quote unquote negative about my mum. I try not to add that I love my mum, because I remember my therapist being like, I know.
Yeah, you don't need to add that disclaimer.
Like, and I find it so many women, when they want to critique their mother, like, I love my mum.
You have to start with,
you want to start with, I love my mum. I love my mum. I love my mum. And you don't need to preface with that.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows, like, whatever. But there is a knowing that, like, until this thing happens, I will not. That, like,
you won't unlock a certain part.
There's
of,
a
like,
part in love from her that I think I won't even get until that. There's there's a certain version of our relationship that I will not get until that thing happens. And I remember speaking to my sister about it, because my sister got married at 24. She's been married since. And I was like, and we were talking about, like, me mum's disagreements. I was like, you've never had to have that reception with mum. You've never been the person who hasn't got married. You haven't been the person who she's like, fuck. So, like, you lot might have your thing, but it's not this.
It's not this.
And this is a very, very unique thing that it's just like, she can't, I promise you that no matter what I do in this life, when that thing is done, there is unlocking that I can't do. So I can only imagine if I now said to her, I'm quit. This closeness that you speak of, she will stop talking to me. Like, there is no, and it sounds so crazy. Sometimes I'm like, in the family I grew up in, thank God I'm not. I know that sounds like because the rejection that, it will so shock me.
Yeah.
And this is how you know that no one chooses this, right?
Yeah,
no one
exactly.
chooses
the rejection that I will, at most, that me and my sister that I'm close to will still love me. Outside of that, good luck.
And it shakes your whole sense of self.
Yeah.
Like, I found myself asking my brothers, like, a week, like, am I suddenly going to turn around and actually, no.
You guys don't fuck with me either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they had to be like, no, we love you. Like, this, please. But it just feeling like I didn't know anymore, because I had felt like my mum was
down.
I felt like she was getting a lot better, and that wasn't the case.
Yeah, because even when you're reading her dilemma, your sister knows. I think your sister knows. Like, and I think that's why she's like, you're gonna go to church 3 times a week. Oh God, what a shame it is to have a sister that's not on your side. To have siblings that are not on your side. Because even if your parents are wayward, having a sibling that's
you still have that connection.
Like, that helps. So this is hell, not having your sibling who is like, because there's many people who are queer. There's siblings, there's this adorable video that I watched, and it was this trans woman, and she comes in and she's getting dressed, and she's saying to her, and her brother was like, cool, yeah, you do this, like, but like, how are we going to cover this, mum and dad? And they're like helping each other. And I'm like, this, like, your brother is down. Like, he'll wear this place, like, cool, change your shoes, and then I'll throw this out of the window for you to have. And I'm like, wow, we're privileged to have a sibling that is down. And imagine having a sibling that's not on your parents' side.
Yeah, oh my God, that's, Oh.
That is actually...
It's like, why couldn't you just be on the right side?
Do you know what I mean? Just back me. So I do feel like that's why your sister's doing all of that pagan. I think she has a clue that you're queer. I think she does. And again, like Paula said, you have to weigh the options. We've had Tanya on here before talking about being homeless after she came out. And that's a possibility. So I know it sounds dumb, but be smart about it. Because really, right now, in terms of what's safer, you don't need a validation to be like, okay, it's good that you're still a lesbian.
Right now,
like, no matter if they say yes or no, you are still a lesbian. So right now, I'm sorry, play it smart.
Yeah. I agree.
Until you can afford to move out, until you can afford, find these communities, find these places, live your life outside. And I know it sounds like crazy advice, but fit whatever mold you need to fit in the household until you can get the fuck out.
Safety first.
Because it is about your safety and your well-being.
I agree. Yeah.
Because like it just is.
That's paramount.
It's
paramount.
just, and unfortunately, so many Black African kids just have to play that game until they can get out.
But then it's also that if it's going to be unsafe for your mental well-being,
To still be there,
to still be there, then
Find a
what
way
are
out,
the extraction strategies? What do we do? And there are so many different like centers. There's the LGBTQ plus community center. Like there are so many helplines that you can access if you just want to talk to someone as well. So like there's Gallup as well. Like I would maybe, if it would help to have a sounding board, just tapping into one of these communities and
chat to them, And I can understand why you'd have a strained relationship with Christianity if you're gay. Because Christians tell you that God hates you. So,
which is just not very Christ-like.
Literally, that's like one Christians will tell you that you are an abomination, and then you now want me on top to still love this. Like I said, come on, make it make sense. Like. Again, like you said,
there
it's not
were sex workers around Jesus.
It's not Christ-like what you guys are saying. And who are you to determine what Jesus loves? It's not Christ-like.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's this sin that you're stickler about. There's many sins.
Listen, if we even get into the mega churches,
there's many sins that he says.
We even talk about Catholicism and the priests. Like there are so many different abuses that take place under the, guise of Christianity. So let's start there. If you talk about how the Christian lobbies across African nations are taking place, like the American Christian lobbies, like if we really get into it, we can. But it's about who people are fucking or not. Or how they're presenting
that's
or not.
What we're going to stick to. Not the people who are killing people in the name of Christ and Christianity or whatever. But cool. Anyway, when we ruled, Paula, when is this out? When can they get it? Tell us all the things.
Yeah, so the paperback is out next week, so 23rd of April.
Perfect. Which is the day you're listening to this episode, if you're listening on time.
And all good bookshops. I mean, if you have a local independent bookshop, go there. If not, Waterstones, etc. That's really it. I'm gonna
also, the language is not intimidating. It's not this kind of stuff. Sometimes you read a book and please,
like, this is above my pay grade.
Please give me a break.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Because I do think that's what makes people not look into these kind of books. They're like, oh no, it will be too
history book.
But I think that is really important to know, and I do think it's really important to know that we just know some of our history.
I learned so much today, man.
No, quite literally.
So many things.
Have I retained a lot of it? No,
that's the thing.
But they will come to me sporadically.
And also, we have this episode to refer back to.
And it's in the book, babe.
And that's what annoys me, because when there's a group discussion and I know something, I'm like, but that's that.
I'll be forgetting my dates.
I forget my words too often for someone who speaks for a living. I'd be forgetting. What's the word for that thing again? I do that all of the time.
I think our memory.
No, but that's what helps us as the listener be engaged.
Okay.
Because we're there shouting on the other side, Tolani!
This is the word, you dumb bitch! Because I had that podcast when I was like, oh, what is that word? I'm like, the word you're looking for is so. Because it's not that complicated, bitch. Paula, thank you so much.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you for all the work you've done. Thank you for the work you've done with us. Thank you for the work you've done with this book. Like, thank you for all that you are. I think you are brilliant. I hope you know that I think you're brilliant. Your work has always been brilliant. And shout out you always.
Same about you guys. Also, can I just say that I'm so proud of you both, not just for like the podcast, but also like stepping away from it. It's not easy. It's really, really not easy to walk away from something and to just listen to yourself, to listen to your gut, to know that you're going into a new season. Guys, that's no small thing. So I'm so proud of you and thank you. Like, selfishly, I wish you could continue the thing.
Selfishly, you say that, but in 5 years you'll be like, these girls, you need to wrap it up. You will be like, these girls need to shut the fuck up. Because how many more things can you say?
No, but this is it. This is it. And like you've done your shift,
bruv. Put it in.
You put it in. You're gonna keep it ticking in a new formation, and I'm so proud of you.
And also, you're part of that 2016 alumni that we just worked. That year, there was something special about that year. Everybody had highlights. That people started shit that year. That was a year. That alumni 2016 was a year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We were eating back then.
Wow. It was good to be black.
Now scrap.
Those were the. I would like to do a thing on black women. A thing. And they were like, here's the money.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then after Black Square Summer, the funding was funding. And now
just went to shit.
They're just like, you're black and what?
We were actually hired. There was like groups of us in one workplace.
What time?
What a laughable time.
What a time.
There was groups of us. We used to be allowed to write about any black thing we wanted on Monday. It was like, because we want to. They're like,
bring in your black friends.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Now, good luck to you and your black mates.
One black per quarter.
At a time. A year. You said quarter, a year. It's actually so bad. Because there's a whole thing about, sorry, I'm going to end this. You and me in Tuscany, we're like, go watch this so they can make other black homcoms. Yeah, because, and the thing is, I don't think it looks good, so.
I'll do the next one.
Yeah. I'll support the next one.
Yeah, I'll do the next one.
Because when I saw the trailer, I was like, this is not what everyone's like.
Miss me. It's
It's not a bit of me.
I don't think rom-coms are back yet.
No.
They're not back yet.
No.
They will be soon one day, but they're not back yet.
Not given.
They're not. And also, as the leads are not, if you said, hey, Michaela Cole and Daniel Kaluuya are rom-com lead, cool.
Oh my God,
Let's
I'll
start
be
talking.
so curious.
But it's this kind of
quite
like, it's black, but it's very, anyway.
No, but also black mediocrity. That has to stand. That has to stand. Not everyday black excellence.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yes,
just
you're right. Just
give
be
us
basic.
some
Yeah,
filler.
Yeah.
No, I
like
hear it.
whatever. Enjoy it. Have a good time. Tuscany. Yay. It feels like the trailer feels like. Do you remember them films that you know exactly what's going to happen?
Yeah.
From the beginning, it starts. City girl goes to the thingy, finds love, and we wrap that shit up. But good luck to everybody. Beautiful gowns.
Yeah, enjoy.
This is also something, I know we're trying to wrap up, but this is also something about TV at the minute.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, I feel like I can constantly predict the storylines and the narratives and like, this is going to happen. And May will sometimes be like, what? And I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who said it, but the fact that TV is getting dumbed down and it's so that you can watch while being on your phone.
I saw that.
Bad.
Like they're making telly assuming that you're not going to be watching this thing fully, you're going to be on your phone, so it's okay. Because I remember the times when you'd watch a certain show, you look down, you have to rewind it. Because I completely...
Exactly.
Yeah. But now you can miss about 15 minutes and still work out exactly what's happening.
We are in dire straits.
We're cooked.
Good luck to everybody.
Exactly.
I've been your girl, Tolly T.
Just call me Audrey.
And
Paula Akpan.
please be sure to grab the book, guys.
Yeah,
it's
go
out
get it,
everywhere
please.
now when we roll.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.